So the firmament domes, plural, not one, but firmament domes, right? They are not solid. And today there's a popular movement going on of saying that the domes are, that first of all is saying that there's one firmament dome. And then what's also taught is that this one firmament dome is a solid structure. Today I'm going to blow all that out the water, and I'm going to come with scientific proof and biblical proof to support my ideology here. So I know everyone thinks that there's one firmament dome and that one firmament dome is solid. But after the day, I'm going to get you to think of your nature, of the nature of reality from a whole nother angle, and it's an ancient angle. The ancient people never said that there was one firmament dome and that one dome was solid. What they said was that there were many domes and that these domes aren't solid. They are a state of matter that's beyond solid, liquid, and gas. And that state of matter, I'm going to break down to you guys the nature of these domes. And today you're going to leave with a better understanding of what the netters, the ethers, these firmament domes are, plural, is many of them. Shout out to Stationary Earth being the first one to contribute to today's stream, and salutes to all of our channel members. Let me cue up a video for later. All right, so let me cut my camera on and talk to y'all. Let me sit down for 1 second before we get into this. And I just got to get my intro out the way. Today's live stream, we're going to dive into biblical, and not just biblical, but ancient cosmology. We're going to do some syncretism. I know y'all like to do that with sacred geometry and all that. We're going to look at a couple of videos because we got to discuss the science of what I'm about to say. And then we're going to sync the science with the, of course, we're going to sync that science with our biblical interpretations, because the ancient people were dealing with science, but they weren't speaking in a normal scientific term that we use. The ancient people were very spiritual, so they had a different terminology to explain reality, and it wasn't scientific jargon. It was a spiritual language that allowed the idea for the spiritual unseen world to have a scientific explanation. Modern physics is the foundation of all science, and just the word physics itself don't exclude any spiritual matters. What we call physics is just to trap us into what I call the Holy Trinity, because what people don't know is the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. When we deal with these archetypes in these books, we're speaking advanced science about the cosmos, but the Father, Son, Holy Ghost is solid, liquid, and gas. Solid, liquid, and gas are the main three states of matter that keeps humans stuck in the matrix, meaning we don't know anything other than solid, liquid, and gas. So we develop our whole understanding based upon what we don't know, right? Which is anything other than solid, liquid, gas. And because that's the holy trinity of human consciousness in this realm, what we do is we base all of our understanding off that holy trinity, and that leads into some called physics. Physics is supposed to be the foundation of us negotiating and understanding the physical realm around us, and it doesn't allow for any explanations about the non-physical realm. The truth is that there's nothing physical at all about reality, and I'll explain that in a minute. But the truth is that there is the unseen world and the seen world, or what we call the material world and the spiritual world. Physics only allow us to be concerned with the material aspect of our reality, which is 1% of all the matter in the universe. The rest is this unseen world. And this is what books like this come in to explain if you know how to interpret it. So that's why we'll share with you some of the ways that the Bible back me up and what I'm about to share with y'all today. So we often see videos that talk about the firmament dome as one solid structure, as I said, but according to the ancestors, right, and the earliest cosmological conceptions, there are actually several firmament domes. They serve as barriers, but they are not solid. In today's stream, I'm going to break down the nature of these domes, since I got you guessing now, because I know you're like, they're not solid. Solid, liquid, and gas are three states of matter that we know in our so-called physical realm, which ain't so physical. Again, we'll go into that. But there's another state of matter that a guy by the name of Sir William Crookes discovered. He didn't discover it, he rediscovered in our time. That's called radiant matter, or what we call plasma. And plasma is the nature of these firmament domes, but we just can't give you one word like plasma and think that that's going to give you the nature of these things. There's far more going on than that. So let's hop right into it, but just understand that I will be breaking down the nature of these domes and explaining why nothing physical, right, can pass through these, or why they say we can't make it through the so-called Van Allen belts. Yes, the Van Allen belts are the firmament domes. Let me give a shout out to Dolph Obama. Thank you for the super chat. And let's give a clap it up for Kai for gifting those 5 memberships. Thank you, Kai. And so at this point, we're going to hop right into the knowledge I got for you. And I do have a co-host with me today. All right. And I know what y'all thinking. Damn, Sanchez ain't had a co-host in a minute. Yeah, I got a co-host today. He might land right here. He might land right here. But I'm going to try to catch him slipping and spin the block on his ass. So in case y'all see my co-host land on my face or bugging me, landing all on a nigga like I'm in Africa, we going to get rid of his ass today. All right? Because I didn't ask for a co-host. Let me give a shout out to Omar Little. Thank you for being a member of this channel, man. Appreciate that. Now let's hop right into this thing and let's talk about something right off the bat. The way we understand, first of all, let's go all the way back to Tartaria and let's start with my co-host messing with me. So let's start with Tartaria, right? Tartaria represent a point of history in the near past where humans had reached the height of technology, and then we ended up having what's called a reset. Now, another term for the word reset in a lot of cultures is a great flood. There have been several resets on the earth only when we reach the height of technology. And that's because the height of technology is when man start to understand the nature of his reality as a holographic simulation. And he knows now he start getting into time travel, astral projection. This is very important. Stay with me because we're going to talk about the early space programs in NASA right now before we go deep. This is important. So listen, in the near past, when we were very advanced, we were only advanced because our understanding of the cosmos and all that stuff. Now, in the near past, in advanced empires like Tartaria, which is a good one to go to in the last reset here, we had uncovered the knowledge of how to lead the earth. Now, in order to understand how this knowledge was hidden, we got to talk about this scam that they ran on everybody. And in order to understand that scam, we're going to talk about And yeah, I'm gonna get I'm working on a whole nother section in my studio here to hang my whiteboards and get all fancy for y'all with another scene. But this gonna work for now. Let's talk about something very important because this was a big mind fuck. Let's talk about the age of exploration. So what I want you guys to understand is in the near past, during the last reset, when we lost all of the advanced knowledge, this knowledge encompassed all of the secrets of the universe and all of the mysteries of the nature of reality, the spiritual realm, the physical realm, all of this stuff. Yeah, I might as well cop a squat right here. That's fire. So we'll turn the mic a little bit. So the age of exploration, it was a part of history where they deleted the last reset. They told us in the age of exploration, it was when we basically made the complete world map. And basically the age of exploration ends with us concluding with our reality being the globe that we see today with all of 7 continents. Now, they said that the age of exploration ended because we found everything there is to find. That's a lie. That's a lie. So the age of exploration ended, right? Because we reached as far as we can go. But we didn't find everything there is to find. What we found was something called the firmament dome. What ended the age of exploration was not when man circumnavigated the globe on all sides and discovered all the continents on a 3-dimensional sphere. What ended the age of exploration was when man started to leave the North Pole, which is the center of the earth where we started, according to the Dogon and the Pygmy. And I can pull up receipts on that at some point. Most of you know that this is the real Pangea. It is the human consciousness expanding from the center of the earth, what they call Eden, outward, like a germ in a petri dish. You drop a serum in a petri dish, and it will materialize into a life form that expands from the center of the petri dish outward. It'll reach the edge of the petri dish, and at that point, it'll actually grow over the dish itself, and at that point, it'll mutate and transform. All of the organism that bleeds out of the dish will mutate, and all of the organism that is within the dish will keep more of its original composition. And the further the life form expands from the center, the less the DNA will resemble that of the stuff close to the center. The center is what we call Eden. The Bible speaks of this, okay? Now, the age of exploration did not end because we found out we was on a globe. The age of exploration ended when all of the ancestors discovered what's called the firmament dome, in which we're about to discuss right now. And when the ancestors discovered this so-called firmament dome, what they did was, and I'll show you here, when our ancestors discovered the firmament dome, they created a visual of it, in which I'll show you now. It's just a collage. There are several, but this is enough. So our ancestors never ended the age of exploration. They just discovered all there was to discover in this particular realm. But the age of exploration did not stop there. And I know you may be confused. When our ancestors discovered the firmament barrier, the age of exploration started a new age of science, physics, technology, and what they call the space race. And the space race is more ancient than NASA in our time. And in fact, we shouldn't call it the space race. The ancient understanding of the heavens were that they were watery mediums, water separated from waters. And it wasn't the space race to them, it was the ether race. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Why, Sanchez? People would think if we discovered all there is to discover here, wouldn't that end the age of exploration? No, the age of exploration only mutated at that point, because once we discovered the ethereal barrier enclosing us, we had more questions. Those questions was the number one question. Enoch asked it, John of Patmos asked it, all of the prophets all of asked it, which was, how do we get out and ascend up to the highest heavens? And we're going to talk about a lot of those prophets who ascended up through the ethers and how they did it and what they knew about the ethers. But before we get into that, I want to get through talking about the age of exploration. The age of exploration didn't end because we discovered everything. It ended because we found the barriers of our realm. And that began the age of science. See, humans only built enough technology to transport themselves or to travel. Other than that, we didn't build advanced technology to manipulate reality around us. We didn't build advanced technology to terraform and manipulate reality. What we built was ships, different things to get us around, and that was the age of exploration. We were discovering this place. Once we reached the outer wall, the ice wall, and we went all the way out there to the firmament dome, and we know that we couldn't go no more. The age of exploration did not end. It mutated into the science age. And the reason is because once we made it to these ethereal barriers, everyone had the same question. How do we get past these barriers? That led to advanced technology, projectile technology like missiles, firearms, lasers. Our attempts to blast through this dome led to a lot of technology that we use today for war, but it was never used to go to war with each other. The first projectile, just like with Operation Fishbowl, people say they was trying to blow through the firmament dome. You're right, but they was also trying to recreate the Big Bang, and I'll be doing another stream on that. I want to talk about the age of exploration. Everyone scratched their head. How do we get past these barriers? And it separated the world into two groups. The tech gurus who started to create machines and advanced technology. And instead of them actually making it through the dome, they ended up just being victims of the technology that they created to make through the dome. And here we are today in the world that the tech gurus made. The other group that was created after the age of exploration were what I call the spiritual gurus. These were the people that said the only way we can get out of this dome is through a moral system, a spiritual code of awakening, ascension, and enlightenment, and all of that stuff. So the age of exploration, it never ended. It mutated into a race between two groups to get off the earth, and by two different means that we call good and evil. One trying to blow their way up out of here with technology, and another group saying the only way out is within, which is what Christ said. And another form of Christ was this God that you see in the image that I'm about to show now. His name is Yeshua. So if you ever look at the Egyptian god Shu, and I'll pull this up for you right now. He is the early form of Jesus Christ, and you can see him in between the two thieves right here. And later on came Christ, but they are North Pole gods that represent a soul making it past the firmament. That was a victory story, because when the age of exploration mutated, our next big step was, okay, how do we get past this thing? And that led it to the spiritual systems that we see on earth. See, here's the theory. The theory is that we didn't even have a spiritual system yet. We had a explorative, inquisitive spirit. In other words, we had the spirit of inquisition, which leads one on a quest that led us out of Eden into the age of exploration. Once we found the barrier beyond the ice wall, that mutated and led us into the space age, or basically the ascension age of which group is going to make it out of the earth. Because again, one group want to go physical technology, use machines. One group want to go within, like the god Shu represented in the Egyptian, which is the early teachings of Christ, saying to save yourselves. Salvation was trying to teach everyone a way to escape this place or penetrate the barriers. So I want you to understand that this God was an ark god, and later there was another archetype created by the church. His name was Noah. And Noah represent another reset, a great flood point where we created another parallel reality yet to free our souls from. And the early knowledge of salvation, what was Noah telling everybody? Save yourself. Noah was another form of Jesus Christ. Before Christ, there were many people teaching the knowledge of salvation, but when Christ came, Christ told people just believe in me. But that's the false teaching. The original, let me get a mic check, everyone. Drop a 1 if y'all can hear me good. So the first one that was telling, drop a 1 if y'all can hear me good. So Noah was telling everybody, save yourself. He was a form of Christ coming to give the knowledge of salvation, or to tell the world, save yourself. But then nobody listened, just like they didn't listen with Christ. So these are the same archetypes. These are the same archetypes, Noah. And I'm going to give you a few of them today. I made a list, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So understand that Yeshua is Shu, or Yeshua, Jesus Christ. And this is a form of Jesus Christ. And all of the Freemasons and Kemetic priesthoods will tell you Christianity started in Egypt, so none of them can deny this teaching right here. That's right. They say that Christianity started in Egypt, and they're right. The knowledge of salvation, of how to get out the simulation or go beyond the firmament dome, is right here with the god Shu. And if you have a problem understanding the symbolism, I'll give you another one, which predates Noah. We're talking about a god that used the ark. He used the ark to save himself from a flood. The flood represents the world around you, people. The great flood ain't talking about what y'all thinking. It's right here. Look, the great flood represent the ripple effect, or the solar system, time, chronos being created. Here is what the great flood represent. Let's show it to you. We're going to go through all of these. I'm just going a little rundown now. But here is what the great flood is. There were several breaches, which see, this thing right here represent what the Bible means by God separating the waters from the waters. The creation story is still being told through Noah, because there are many earths being created. All right. Eden was the first earth. And then there were several earths created after that. Noah represent another flood, where we created a whole nother parallel reality. And it started, and we reset the earth again with one man and his family. That's going to happen again, another reset. And there's going to be a new earth born out of the old earth. And the old earth never went nowhere. It just got flooded over. It's like a sunken city. So when Plato was talking about Atlantis, or the sunken city, he was giving you the solar system. This is the solar system, everybody. And they talking about the great flood. Another way to look at that is like this right here. Let me show you. This will click it in your head right here. Here is the Great Flood. It's going to all make sense. Wait for it. Where's my other picture here? Okay. Talk about this. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry. I got it. We ain't ready for these yet. Hold up a second. Y'all ain't ready for that yet. Let me go ahead and go back and get this again. I guess I didn't load it up. No problem. Thanks for y'all patience. Okay, that's strange. All right, stand by, everyone. Let me grab some real quick. All right, so no problem. I'll just have to do some here. This next, okay, no problem. I see what I've done now. I never saved the image. That's my fault. All right, let me save this and I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Sorry for that little glitch. All right, so let me load this up now. Open up that folder. Appreciate y'all. Let me. Let's talk about the Great Flood, y'all. I want you to understand the Great Flood from a scientific and ancestral way. And make sure y'all hitting the like and share button. I'm going to have to save this image again. I'm having a little tech issue. No problem. So I go to that, and then boom, there it is. All right, cool. All right, so now I got that straight. Here is what the Great Flood means. When the human consciousness fell from Eden, you talking about the Great Fall, right? The Great Fall represent consciousness leaving our first head. This first little dome that you see at the top, that's the first heaven, or what they call the base reality. And when the Great Flood happened, our consciousness, it fell down to fill up other dimensional planes, right? So think of the consciousness of humanity like water. And the Great Fall is when someone turned this fountain on, and the consciousness of man first started in the base world. Then it was born again in the lower world, lower world, lower world, lower world. When you get to your lowest of lows, ain't nowhere to go but up again, because when you go down from that bottom level, it actually recycle you back up to the top. Okay? So understand that the Great Fall is also synonymous with the Great Flood. All right? And all of these represent reset points. Each of these bowls that's collecting the water, right? It's a Van Allen belt or a ring of Saturn. We're in Saturn right now, y'all. And the word Saturn is also synonymous with the word saturate, which is what the Great Flood means. To saturate, to be fruitful, for the consciousness of humanity to expand beyond Eden to out all of the parallel realities below Eden throughout the dimensional planes below Eden. So the water represent the path of human consciousness. Shout out to Philosophical. Thank you so much. Love the content, love your perspectives, groundbreaking information. I appreciate that. I'm gonna keep it coming. So you see how what I'm saying here about the Great Fall of man, and then there were other falls as well. and then we get all the way to the lower realm. Now, let me talk about something about the nature of these realms, right? You know that the water that's collected at the top bowl is going to be the cleanest. Like, if you wanted to drink from this fountain, then the best place to drink at would be from the very top where the water first coming out at. It's the cleanest. This is a filtering system, right? Because there's going to be a lot of debris that collects in the top bowl and even more debris that collects in the second bowl. And guess what? The bigger the bowl, the more filth it's going to collect in the bottom, causing each fountain's bowl to have a slightly different tint of water. Not all of the water ain't going to be the same color. So it's going to be the clearest at the top, and then the water going to start shading into different dirty colors as you go down. And that's what this pyramid, this solar system is. The base reality is the purest, cleanest reality. It's represented by a clear color. It is void of any color. When you start putting color, you're diluting the base reality, adding a filter over it. And another way to think of it is like looking at me through a gradient filter versus a clear filter. Watch this. If you put this over your eyes, it will dilute your image of reality, and you won't see what? Clearly. You won't see clearly because you got a color gradient, and the only thing that won't be a color would be the clear gradient. Clear is the lack of color, which means the lack of Saturn, the lack of the prism spectrum of light that Saturn created with the chakra system. This is what they calling the devil right here, the color spectrum. And we're trying to get back to clear. And clear is the highest heaven. It's the top, plane where the water is still clean. If you put more buckets down there and make them even bigger, the lower you go, the dirtier that water will get, man. Because it's gonna, the more filth that can be collected in the bowl, the more it will taint or brine or give the water a little gradient. It won't be clear. So it's a filtering system. The lower we go, the more filth, the less clear reality is. It's like looking through a gradient. You can't see clearly. So the base reality is the only reality where we can actually see clear and see reality for what it is and see the truth based upon what I'm showing you here. And this is what Plato taught. So we're just beginning here, and we can see prophets ascending up to the base reality, stripping through the veils or the gradients. And what I like so much about this ancient Christian artwork here, it shows you the ethereal barriers are like watery. In fact, let's watch this commercial, because this whole artwork that I'm showing you here, the Hennessy people put this in a commercial, but this is an ancient concept of breaking through the waters above. That's why I'm telling you that the waters above us isn't solid. They're not solid. You're like a fish in the ocean. And if a fish swim up to the surface of the ocean, that's like us trying to break through the firmament dome. Now, guess what happens, right? When a fish in the ocean swim all the way up to the top, it's going to be pushed back down again. Because the way that the fish body is made, the way that it's hollow, is like if you get see, the thing about the fish in the water, why the fish gonna keep going back down, it can't escape the medium that it's built for. That's another way to put it. So the fish may go to the top, but he ain't gonna go no further. And all of the life that exists right inside the ocean, it'll never go no further than the surface, man. Because it's in its medium, and you're in yours. Let me show you something. This is what you are right here. Our whole realm is represented by the ocean floor to the ocean surface. That sandwiches all of the life in the ocean, right, into a little pocket. It sandwiches all of the life in the ocean, but guess what? There are underwater oceans that you can keep going under. It don't stop at our ocean. It's a whole nother underwater lake. You can go up in there and it may open up to a whole nother big world, a whole nother big ocean beneath our world, man. Shout out to the Truth Lady for becoming a member of this channel. Thank you. So we're like life forms in the ocean. We're situated from the ocean. The ground is like our ocean floor. And when you look up, all that blue that you see would be no different than a fish looking up. And the fish is thinking that the light that's reflecting on the ocean surface is the sun, but it's not. That's not the real sun. That's the light of the sun reflecting on the ocean surface. So the fish never saw the real sun before. The fish only saw a reflection of the sun reflecting through their medium, which is what we see. Our sun isn't physical, y'all. There's no such thing as physicality. There's only different layers of light, and by the end of this stream, you're gonna see why I said that. Now watch, I'm gonna show you why we can't get through the firmament dome, right? The reason why we can't get through the firmament dome is why nothing in the ocean can be brought above the surface of the ocean. I don't care if you're talking about the coral reefs, if you're talking about what's your favorite plant, any of them plants, pick up any fish, any doggone thing you see in this ocean, that's called ocean life. If you remove that from the ocean, it won't live for long. And if you do remove it from the ocean, you got to take a piece of the ocean with it, like an astronaut that's trying to go to space, got to take air from our world to space to go with it. But ain't no space. Just like a fish that's saying what's above the clouds, because the clouds to the fish would be the surface pattern of the water. You see how it looked like clouds? This is what, let me show you what I mean here. Because the fish, watch this. Clouds to the fish, if you look at the surface of the ocean water, it's got this rigid little pattern like cloud texture. You know, when the fish look up, it's seeing a blue sky with this cloud like white. You see how if you zoom in on this, you can't tell no difference between this. Let me see if I can zoom in and fuck with y'all third eye a little bit. Let me see. Damn it, it ain't let me zoom in no further. But let me see, I'm gonna show you. You got to re-examine how you looking at this place. Look. So when we look at clouds in the sky, right? What are they floating on? They're floating on this invisible, one of the invisible barriers. There's many layers, like an onion. But you reach all the way up to the exosphere, and that's what y'all calling the dome. But as you travel up, there are different dimensional planes of gases settling in their layer based on the law of density. Shout out to Sally McDermott. I appreciate you too. Thank you. But what I want to do, I want to give you another way of looking at this place by zooming in on some clouds real quick. Let me see. Here we go. This is a good example. When a fish is in the ocean, it's looking up, it's saying exactly what you see. Now we look up and we see this. We go outside, we look up and see this. Now the ancestors talked about the waters above, and you ain't understanding why the sky blue. So check this out. When a fish look up and think about what I'm telling you, the fish, right? When it looks up, it can see these things that appear to be clouds in its blue sky. You see, these little white little specks is just a reflection of sunlight. But what I'm telling you is it's the same science they try to give you with the globe and what the ancestors are giving you with the sky being in its expanse. So even if you look at clouds at night under moonlight, if you was a fish in the ocean at nighttime, you will look up and you will have this same pattern, but it will be darker blue water instead of this light blue, just like us looking at clouds at nighttime. But we ain't looking at clouds. We're looking at underwater. But that can be seen. This is how the ancestors looked at this reality like water separated from waters, right? But the thing about this, you can have all of these dimensional planes like the one that we exist in, the one above the clouds, and then it just keep having these different layers of, and then you reach this last layer where you're finally out of our terrarium, right? It's 7 terrariums inside of each other. And each of these terrariums is filled up with its own. So if you can take this image right here, let me go back to this one. Now take this image and draw little lines between starting from the ground, and then just start drawing lines all the way up till you get to this next water surface. And that represent the layers of our atmosphere. So we got like the stratosphere, the mesosphere, we got all of these layers of our Earth atmosphere before you get to another world, right? And that would be like you leaving the ground right here, going up. And what you know in the ocean is it's the same laws, y'all, because in the ocean, right? In the ocean, there are different dimensional currents that separate life forms. So the ocean ain't just one big body of water with everything. No, it's very separated. And that's why I'm finna explain about the ethers, right? We finna go deep on what the ethers are now. Now that we looking at this. These are weather barriers. They are like underwater currents that separate different oceans. So, matter of fact, here go a video that's gonna break down what I'm saying about these different barriers. And after this video, I'm gonna play the Hennessy commercial so you can see it from a different perspective. Let's play this real quick.
There are lines in the ocean that animals cannot cross. Sea lions are one of the most puzzling examples. They're found in every ocean of the world, except the North Atlantic. This is bizarre because the North Atlantic is ideal for sea lions. The temperature is right, there's an abundance of their preferred prey. Other pinnipeds like harbor seals thrive in these waters. But for some reason, sea lions have never been able to cross the tropical Atlantic. It's easy to look at the ocean and see it as one big body of water where animals just roam freely. But that could not be further from the truth. In reality, the ocean is a patchwork of diverse aquatic environments separated by marine barriers. These barriers divide the ocean into 30 distinct biogeographic
realms. This is what the ethers do on a cosmic level. So people, before I play anymore, I want to break some down to you. Our ancestors was like, you know what? I like to show y'all stuff when I talk. Let's look at this. Our ancestors, what ended the age of exploration, put it like this, right? Look at where these two oceans meet. Now, what about when all of the fish on the green side make it to the blue barrier? They gonna stop. Their age of exploration gonna end. See, the green ocean over there is huge, but it has its boundaries like a continent. And just like man-made barriers or state lines or whatever, but the things is deeper than that, because the fish on the green side can't go to the blue side because they'll die. They're literally tailor-made for the water they're in, for the medium they're in. which is why we can't go through the Van Allen belts. When I say we, I'm talking about your body. The space program is a lie, y'all. We cannot physically leave the earth. We can only do it through spiritual ascension or transforming ourselves. Or if a fish on the green side mutate and start growing a third fin and a fourth gill, and now it can swim over to the blue side. That's what happens when you die. When you die, your soul literally has the technology to allow you to cross over to the higher ocean that's above this ocean that we're in. Just like these two oceans that won't mix. When we try to go up to the firmament dome, guess what? We meet a whole nother ocean, y'all. Just like them fish. We can't go no further because everything in our water is created for our water. You can't take nothing out of our water and cross it over because it would immediately disappear. Now watch this, why I say disappear. Our world ain't physical. These different layers that I'm showing you, they represent layers of luminosity. This is how light shines. Now let me go to the board and show you what I mean. When you start on a light source, which is when we became conscious and created this world, this is what Polaris is, the first spark of consciousness. Point of singularity, that's Polaris. This Eden. So basically layers of luminosity. This would be the source of light, because when you talk about luminosity layers, they're created by a light source. Light projects in a triangle. This is how light projects. But this is the light source. Polaris is the source light, or Eden. Once it's projected, it expands. This is what creates the firmament dome, the canopy. This is Polaris in the middle of the firmament dome. These are the fake worlds inside the dome, and they're separated by layers of luminosity, meaning the brightest world outside of the light of the source world of Eden, the first earth that's created, is gonna be brighter. Watch this. Draw a line right there. That's one layer. This represents a certain amount of lumens, layers of luminosity. The more lumens you got, the brighter you are. So we start losing lumens. When we drop down this pyramid, it get dimmer and darker. The more light expands, the more it loses its brightness. So the lower you go, you going into hell, into darkness. And these worlds are like shadowy distortions of the real world. You get me? They're like shadowy distortions of Polaris, the lower you go. It's a layering system of, you exist in each one of these layers. You exist in each one. But knowledge is represented by light. Ignorance is represented by darkness. So the lower yous are dumber than the upper yous. The demons or the demons, the damn mans, the damn man or the demon in hell, he's stupid and ignorant. He laugh all the time with the devil. When you don't know nothing, everything funny. You ain't serious about nothing. But when you ready to get the hell up out of here, you stop laughing and cackling and being entertained down here in ignorance in the demon world of dim man. You rise up bright as light. But the age of exploration never ended. It's continuing now with our spiritual ascension. We are the ancient explorers, that reached the barrier, and we are being born and again now to remember where we left off in the age of exploration. We was telling everybody once we met that barrier, the only way out is a spiritual system. Some of us adopted that system. Some of us adopted technology to cheat that system. That created the war between good and evil, the dim man and the light man, or the angel and the devils. But what we got to realize is that the Greeks didn't have a good comprehension of reality. The Greeks didn't understand the fourth state of matter. The ancient Greeks knew about solid, liquid, gas, and they knew how to manipulate it to a lot of degree. But they didn't know about the fourth state of matter that transcend those three, which is radiant matter or plasma. So the Greeks were masters at what we call the material world. So were the Egyptians and a lot of more people. We've built systems based upon us mastering solid, liquid, and gas, but the most advanced utopias on Earth was built upon man mastering radiant matter, which is the unseen realm that governs the seen. So we haven't built the spiritual kingdom, which would be heaven on earth. We did before, but when that is not present, by default, hell on earth is what we experience, and that can be said for what we are experiencing now. So let me see. Now we got to go back to the video and show y'all, right, why just like two oceans won't mix, and the fish from one ocean can't just go to the other side, it's a death sentence, right? And it's because everything in their ocean is made for their ocean. All of the states of matter, all of the elements and plant forms, I mean everything that's in their side of their ocean, it's tailor-made for that, and it can't work in no other condition. So nothing from this side can go to the other, not just a fish, a plant can't go, right? Even the waves that's created on the green side won't even cross over to the blue side. Ain't that something? Think about what I'm telling you. The ocean on the right side got a certain speed and certain size waves that it make. And the ocean on the blue side got its own style waves and its way that it frequently make them and all that. And that line represent where two different systems are separated. And if you go up above the earth, you will see another line just like that separating our world from other earths. So the universe is this big interconnected infinite expanse with a bunch of different pockets of life living in their own frequency bandwidths and dimensional sectors based upon states of matter and levels of consciousness represented by layers of luminosity. You can rewind the video and slow it down.
Realms. An average of 42% of marine species are unique to a specific biogeographic realm, meaning they're not found anywhere else in the world. Because of this, Europeans didn't know sea lions even existed.
So you cannot find a human being anywhere else but this realm. Just like if I take you back to these two oceans, right? It is certain fish that's in the green side that you can't find nowhere else in the world. And there's certain fish in the blue side that won't manifest nowhere else on earth. Everywhere on earth is being saturated with a certain frequency that's coming from a certain magnetic ley line, and everything within that frequency will mutate to a organism that resembles that frequency. And these frequencies exist side by side each other like different states and different county lines. You can hop from one frequency to another just crossing the line, man. You in a whole nother world. And this is what we gotta watch the Hennessy commercial to show you what I mean.
reaches the edge. After he goes as far as any man can possibly go, how does his son continue?
So the deep thing about this Hennessy commercial, right, is when you talk about August Picard reaching the furthest as he can go, and his son picking up the torch, coming behind him, and continuing it, the age of exploration to go as further as he can go. Then how you look at that is this: they telling you in secret, this you right here, this is your lowest version. This represents the earth realm that we're in right now, perhaps, right? But let's say this is August Picard. He's gonna live out his lifetime, and his whole lifetime is gonna result in him shifting his consciousness to this level. Now, this is his son and his other son, and all the way up to somebody gonna make it to the top of the pyramid, which is why it took every generation to help build a step pyramid in Egypt, because the knowledge behind that was the path of ascension. But this is talking about each layer of the self. Your dumbest layer is right here. That's like your daddy. But then the son come, which is Jesus, and he's more calmer, he's nicer and smarter with his magic versus the old God. And each God gets more nicer, more wiser, and more, they start to heal with their powers versus have a power trip. You rising up to your greatest version is a lesson on God trying to learn how not to abuse his power. So that when you become all powerful right here, you will shed it your ego and you won't misuse the power. It's a filtering system to guarantee that you won't misuse it. Ain't no such thing as, well, I'm gonna try hard not to misuse it. The part of you that would make you abuse your power as a God will be stripped away. You won't even have that. So it won't even be no temptation. Ego won't even exist inside of you once you get up here with all that power. Ego won't exist with you. So our journey up this mountain is us stripping ourselves of ego and replacing that empty space with the power of God. Ego is just dead weight holding us into our lowest version. And losing the ego, just like once you get rid of ego, that empty space is automatically filled up with light. It's like this: a ship in water with a hole in it gonna get filled up with water. But in this case, let's say that you're being filled up with something that's less dense than air, which the more of this stuff you get in you, you'll start floating like the girl in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory that was sucking up the helium. Or like Mario when he get fat because he got the helium in him. But let's say in order to fill you with that air that's gonna float you out of here, you gotta empty out the ego. So that's the heaviest thing you carrying. And that's like a hot air balloon that gotta drop the weights and fill itself with fire and pressure, which would be light. But let's talk about these barriers, because right now I'm talking about how to get through them. And I'm giving you the spiritual knowledge and symbolism that taught the knowledge of ascension. And we're gonna watch this Hennessy video, and he's gonna actually surface through the barrier, the waters above, and then I'm gonna hop back on talking about the nature of the domes and hop back and forth with telling us how to get through them and what they are. So let's go back to what they are for a second here. I want to replay this. One of my favorite commercials. Check it out. So, and I know I keep pausing it, but it's such symbolism, because when you talk about the sun continuing the journey, The Son ain't Christ, and the Son ain't the S-O-N. It's always the inner light, the S-U-N. August Picard and his bloodline represent the path of ascension of your consciousness, leaving the bottom world, going to the top one. Your consciousness will exit this body and shift to this body and go up here, go up here, go. The only thing that's moving up this ladder is this ball of light right here, not the body. Remember, you can't take nothing from this ocean to the next ocean. Everything in this medium got to stay here. These things are separated with laws, right? And the reason for it is this: if you still don't get it, I'm gonna show you why this is important, right? All of the second grade curriculum is in a second grade classroom. You ain't gonna go in a second grade classroom and find 10th grade books, 9th grade books, 8th grade books. That's a waste of space. This is a second grade classroom, and we barely got enough space for all of our second grade curriculum. So we're gonna fill this stuff up with things of second grade matters. And when you go to the third grade classroom, guess what's in there? Wherever you go is all things that's built for people that's on a third grade level of consciousness. Each of these are classrooms. And you can't take that's cheating. A 10th grader can't come to 5th grade giving out all the answers. And a kindergarten can't go up to 5th grade asking for all the answers. It's a law. Everybody gotta learn in their own paradigm, and can't nobody help you, because the knowledge have to be individually learned and understood, and giving someone the answers is robbing them of a learning experience. We're not just going to school to learn. We're going to school to learn how to learn. That's another part we miss about why we separate these barriers to maintain the integrity of every classroom. Makes perfect sense. So if you want to go to another class, then you got to gain the knowledge, right? To go beyond the current class you in. It's just like school. So let's talk about the path of ascension and breaking through these waters above these. The only thing that's able to penetrate these barriers is the ball of light that you see there. No physical body gonna go. Another name, right, for these domes or these Van Allen belts, they're called the heavens. And in the Bible, it said that no flesh and blood can enter heaven. And that's saying that the only way you can go up there is through astral projection. So Jacob is the soul. We're talking about them personifying the soul into an archetype called Jesus Christ, which is why you see Christ on top of Mount Calvary with his arms open. That's Vitruvian man. That's my panther there. Y'all will get it later. You'll see. You'll see. One day it's all gonna click. But check this out. When you're resurfacing through these is the shirt that I'm wearing, for example. It's no different than, because I want to just show you how simple the symbolism is, right? Did I close that out? Yeah, I did. Let's get that back. Yeah, the shirt that I'm wearing, for example, it's showing you this, the MGM lion going through the little circle, the portal is right here. Enoch raising up. And did I show you that other God breaking through the firmament dome? His name Anu, which means all things are made new again. Anu. A-N-E-W is A-N-U. Every time you raise up through one of those domes, your consciousness enters a new you in a new body. That body of yours that's in that upper dome, it's already built for that medium, just like the fish in their own oceans. So if I ask you, how do a fish get from one side to the other side? I'm finna blow y'all away with my theory right now. And ain't no way to prove this or disprove it, but it's a fire theory. What if every fish on the green side has an equal version of itself on the blue side? What are you saying, Sanchez? We are thinking that the green ocean got different fish than the blue ocean. What if, right? What if for every fish on the green side, it's the same fish on the blue side, but it's another version of itself. And when a fish die in the green side, its consciousness shift to its body that's already swimming around in the blue side. Now, if I'm saying this is what the ancestors said about death and going through the firmament domes and about human consciousness rising up to get seated in its other body that's already in that ocean that you can't go to now. You pass the baton. I get the light out of me and I throw it over into the other ocean. I already got a body in that ocean that can swim over there. That's mutated for that. What if it's the same for the fish? What if these fish are one interconnected consciousness just like us, y'all? What if this earth is way far more deeper than what the hell we've been taught, and it's the nature of what we're explaining here? And what if when we look at these animals in the ocean, they're just multidimensional creatures like us that have a version of themselves in each ocean? And when they die in one ocean, their consciousness just shift to their other body that's in the other ocean. And a fish in this ocean may meet this barrier and it may say, how do I get to the other side? And another fish may say, you gotta die. You already over there. Just like I'm telling y'all. You already exist in this parallel reality. It's parallel because it's next to ours. It's literally interconnected with ours. If it's true for us, who's to say it ain't true for them fish in the ocean? What if you killing the fish in the green side is just resurrecting it in the blue side?
Sanchez cocinando.
We'll be right back to you guys after this very quick commercial break. We're not done. There's so much to go over.
Support the content you love. Your contribution matters. It helps us continue our groundbreaking research, allowing us to create the unique content that you expect from our brand. Contribute today via Cash App, PayPal, or Patreon. Thank you.
All right, let's take this concept deeper. Let's take this thing deeper. All right, I got two boards. That way, I ain't gotta keep erasing. I can kind of swap. Now listen, remember what I just told y'all? This is layers of luminosity. This is the brightest world all the way to the dimmest world. You exist in each of these worlds. And what I want you to know, nothing is physical. This is what these worlds are. Let me show you. Our universe ain't physical. There's no such thing as physicality. There's such thing as layers of light. And the lowest worlds seem to be more physical. But the darkness is heaviness. Light is light. It don't weigh nothing, right? Going down is where we experience weight and gravity. That's why you see images of Atlas with the world on his shoulder. You literally got the world on top of your shoulder because the world is the base reality. That's the densest reality right here, the brightest one. All of your demons are carrying that on their shoulders, and it's creating gravity. It's creating weight. But the word weight should be the word wait. If you wait long enough, you'll get the hell up out of here, right? You'll escape weight or the stuff that's holding you down through death. Now, This is the solar system. Looking at the solar system from a top-down view, and the sun in the middle would be you. In the base reality, projecting this entire experience, just like we see in Hindu cosmology right here. You are asleep in the highest heaven, and see, the thing about this is you're a being of light in the highest heaven. And when you shut your eyes, there's nowhere for the light to go but back inward. And when the light implodes, it creates the simulation inside of God, a dream world made out of God's sleeping light, maintaining motion. Because listen, light can't just be still, it must always remain in motion. God's way of making light be still, or God's way of making light sort of go to a resting state, is by dreaming, creating a fake world with it. That's light at a resting state. When light decides to rest, it rests in a shape that looks like a torus field. It's the path of least resistance. This is what light does at rest. This is when light is being ordered, is being tamed, and the shape you tame it with is to fold it back and upon itself like we see here. This is what the firmament dome is, y'all. It is the light of creation folding back in and around itself to create the very barrier that you're calling the firmament dome. All right? It's a mental barrier. You're in a dream. So it's your own fucking head in a higher realm. Do you hear me? You're in your own head, which is why the earth shapes like a brain. And the two hemispheres would be the sun and moon. It's all in your head. The universe is in the back of your head, man. Science just figuring that out. We've been saying that. The universe is basically light projected inside of a dark chamber called a brain. And when the light fill up this skull, it creates this shape here. And that's within, so without. Why? Because you're asleep within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within a you, within a you, within a you. And it looks like this. Because all of these are overlayered over each other in overlapping realities. These are many truths occupying the same space, creating a paradox where all of these lies are true. Right? You're up and you're down. You see the paradox? If I say, man, I'm down here, that'll be a lie because I'm up here too. But if I say I'm up here, that's a lie because I'm down here. I'm multidimensional. My multidimensional presence is what creates the paradox in reality. Same with you. Christ is creased, is split. There's no such thing as solid. The only thing that exists is solar. So what do you mean, Sanchez? Solar is dealing with the solo, the individual singularity, the single light within every human. Is not the sun power. It's not the sun. It is the central sun in between your eyeballs. That's what they was talking about. And here's an image right here. That's what creates the firmament dome. Just like this right here. I'll show you. I brought my slides. I got you. Here is how the dome is created. This is your Babel Tower. And you see how each dome is its own world based upon levels, height levels, just like we see here. With the middle world being a pole. Why is the pole at the middle? That's what created all of the worlds, just like what the Yoruban showing right here. If you take this concept further, you will get a dome within a dome, but the straightest one in the middle, that's the North Pole Polaris. Shout out to OD123. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do, brother. Much love. Thank you. Thank y'all. So again, we're not physical beings, y'all. We are holographic avatars of projected light that's acting like it's physical, but it's not. It's not. Let me show you something real quick. This is what our world looked like. But when you're inside the hologram, it becomes physical. But from a macro, ain't nothing physical about this place. It's just a holographic light show where light is becoming concrete, wood, water. Again, the only thing that existed was light. And the only way light can become solid, liquid, and gas is through holography, through a holographic illusion that you call physical creation. But this all it is light acting like a building, light posing as a wood or water, which is why God had to have light first before everything else, because this is the fourth state of matter that physics don't want to deal with. So what is the firmament dome? It is the last state of matter that you reach before you escape this bandwidth, this medium that we call Earth. And this is why physics don't deal with the fourth state of matter. They deal with the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, solid, liquid, gas, right? And the reason that they do that is because the fourth state of matter will show you that the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are imposters, and that solid, liquid, gas is just light putting a fucking costume on. It's just light saying, look at me, I'm a cloud. It's light saying, look at me, I'm an ocean. It's light saying, look at me, I'm a tree. But at the end of the day, everything you see in this image is just light. But when you inside of this world, you saying, oh, that's a concrete building. Look at that big old cloud. Look at that lake. All of it just light, vibrating at different frequency. Light is like Play-Doh for God. He take that light and shape it into different things, which is what we see in the Bible. They're telling you you're in a holographic simulation. Now that we know we in a holographic simulation, why can't we make it through the Van Allen belts? Why can't we make it through the dome, which is the next ocean next to us, and we trying to penetrate it? Well, we're going to play the video before I answer that. But before I play the video, I want to show you what the word solid means. Nothing is solid. The solar system is a series of lids to contain your soul. It's not a solid system. It's a solar system. We don't live in a solid system. I'm going to say that again. You live in a solar system, not a solid system. And the solid is a lid for your soul. It means that each planet is a plane enclosed in a net, a plane net, planet. And each of these netted planes is a lid for a certain layer of your consciousness, whether it's a brighter layer of you or a dumb, meaner layer of you. Each of these containers is trapping a layer of your consciousness in each of its respected dimensions based upon which layer of you it is. You, the badass, is trapped down here. You, the good guy, is up here. It's a law of density. But solid is a soul lid. And each of these worlds that they say are solid worlds, if you think of the solar system, every planet is composed of solid, liquid, or gas. But that's the Greeks. The Greeks didn't understand spiritual matter. They didn't understand anything but solid, liquid, and gas. They didn't understand plasma, which is the stuff our spirit is made of. Plasma is the fourth state of matter that goes beyond solid, liquid, and gas. And when we vibrate at that state of matter, we can go up to we can go beyond the firmament dome, y'all. Your body don't vibrate at that level, which is why you got to die, because the part of you that do vibrate at that level, it can penetrate and break that water surface, which is why they want to cheat death by 2050 and trap a lot of souls in this place. This is what the great floods, plural, there were more than one flood. The great floods represent the creation of the underworlds, the sunken cities, the sunken Atlantis, the sunken. We exist under an ethereal barrier, y'all. You're in Atlantis right now. They keep talking about we looking for Atlantis. Our ancestors left a lot of knowledge for us to know where we are and what we are. But how did they hide it in plain sight? They changed the narrative around it. And they told you lies about Atlantis. And they said it's a literal sunken place that's somewhere under the ocean, when guess what? Our entire earth is Atlantis, according to Plato. Plato was portraying the damn solar system before NASA. That's what I'm telling y'all. They got a monopoly on how you see reality. And until you see it the ancient way, you ain't getting up out of here, man. That's right. That's the devil trapping your damn soul in ignorance. Knowledge is the only way out. So solid is soul-led. But let's go back and show you some here. I want to actually finish this video because I've been teasing y'all with it. And by the way, I mentioned Atlas earlier, but the Egyptian predecessor to Atlas was the scarab beetle. So if you ever look at that scarab beetle, because the Greeks didn't understand. Let me show you about the Greeks real quick before we play that. I know they like, damn, when he gonna play the video? We gonna play it. But the Greeks didn't understand radiant matter. They didn't understand the spiritual realm. They came late with all this knowledge. But the Greeks saw this in Egypt. What they learned, what the Greeks learned from the Egyptians was the nature of the universe and the fourth state of matter, which is ether. And they turned the word ether into Thor, a god with a magnetic hammer, to show you the ether or the Thor that they learned in Egypt. And when the Greeks learned in Egypt, they took this scarab beetle and they turned it into a Greek version called Atlas. Same concept of resurrection, because that's what the dung beetle represent, resurrection. But it all represent you rising up from an underworld to higher dimensional planes, like what I'm sharing with you now. This was the Greeks learning from the Egyptians, but we live in a world that's giving us this old dumb Greek knowledge. That's why y'all believe in a globe, space. You believe what Isaac Newton and the Greeks and them, which were dummies. Sanchez on some deep stuff, because I'm tapping into the esoteric knowledge of the occult and the ancestors, which all the Freemasons and all of them doing.
When a man reaches the edge, after he goes as far as any man can possibly go, how does his son continue?
And listen, I don't care what color the Greeks was, they was dumb as hell. All right? Americans come in all colors and shades, but look at our IQ. When you compare the American IQ to a Chinese student, they'll run circles around your ass. Chinese kids don't even get summers off for school. They go to school all year round. Now listen, I don't want to bring color into this because that's irrelevant. Because the ancient people didn't even identify by skin tones and colors like black and white. That's new dumb stuff.
what's your wild rabbit? Hennessy, never stop, never settle.
I can watch this over and over because it gives me such a good example of what it's gonna be like when your soul get up out your body and your soul just busts up out of here and resurface back up to that high. Hey, shout out to Truck Life Tiara and to all my truckers, man. Appreciate that, man. She said you cooking. You know, and I'm gonna keep this going. I want y'all to watch this video a little bit more about why these animals won't cross into the other ocean, because I'm giving y'all some science and I'm giving y'all a lot of esoteric, but she can give you more of the scientific jargon too, which is why I'm playing her video. So let's go ahead and play it. And because this apply, if you think of what she's saying in the context that I'm teaching with the ethers and all that, and then we finna go into what these things is even more. Let's go.
Until the age of exploration, when sailors started coming home with strange tales of weird creatures in faraway lands. Scientists and naturalists like Alfred Russel Wallace joined these expeditions and began asking, why are some animals found in some places, but not others? This became the central question to an emerging field of science known as biogeography. I'm KP, a marine biologist who has worked with marine mammals like sea lions for over 15 years. Alfred Wallace is sometimes called the father of biogeography. He noticed something striking when he traveled from Bali to Lombok. These islands are so close that you can see one island from the other, but they're home to completely different animals. He noticed the same boundary between the islands of Borneo and Sulawesi. Even though the water was just a few kilometers wide, there was a clear and dramatic line separating these islands that animals and even birds were unable to cross. This is the Wallace Line. On one side of the line, you find tree kangaroos,
Now listen, I'm finna blow y'all away because you hear this, right? But let me play a little more before I come with this, because I may be cutting her too soon.
melons, and other marsupials, along with the really weird animal.
Now y'all get what she's saying. Animals right there, but it's like an invisible line. The animals over here won't even cross over there. It was an example I was gonna give. I just had a brain fart. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. Y'all know, shout out to Leonard Robinson. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are really supporting my work. It just gives me motivation to keep it going. Y'all know that there are swarms of birds in the sky, and these birds be flying, and all of a sudden they just all drop dead out the sky. People have been trying to figure out, how is it that a whole flock of birds all of a sudden they flying healthy, then boom, they just die, just fall out the sky. And here's my theory. Just like the fish in the ocean got these invisible barriers, the sky is an ocean for birds, and it's separated in different oceans that won't mix, and it got invisible barriers. And I think sometime these birds can get lost and shit, and they can breach one of these invisible barriers, and the moment they cross over, they dead. Because guess what'll happen? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna show y'all why I say that, right? If you got a fish in the ocean that won't mix with the other ocean, soon as that fish swim through that barrier, it's got about 30 seconds, it's dead. It's gonna be dead real soon, within a minute. Now look, if a fish from the green side is swimming too fast or get lost or some kind of way, it just so happened to penetrate and go to that other side, it'll never be able to explore that other side because it'll die. And that's why we can't explore what's beyond our ether. Because the moment we breach that shit, you dead. It's like the little shit they put on the dog and they make an invisible fence. And if the dog cross it, he get a little sharp little pain. But in this case, if you cross it, you just die. You just drop dead. Now, these birds in the sky may be crossing invisible barriers. And when they cross it, boom, they just die. They just drop dead. And because they was lost, they was off track. You know what I'm saying? And boom, that will explain why all of these birds just dropping out the sky. Because if a swarm of fish was to pass over this barrier, the same thing will be true for them. So we understanding what the sky is, what the firmament is, what's separating our world from the next one, what this barrier is. And I'm really trying to throw a lot of stuff at you to make you just get your wheels thinking on how to look at it with this ocean stuff. Now let's go back to the video.
Like monotremes, which are mammals that lay eggs, like echidnas and the platypus. These marsupials and monotremes aren't found on the other side of the line. Instead, you find placental mammals like apes, elephants, and big cats. In 1876, Alfred Wallace published The Geographical Distribution of Animals, where he described a system of biogeographic regions that were separated by natural barriers, like the Wallace Line. But these barriers don't line up with the continents, and some regions are more similar than others. North America and Eurasia have very similar species of wolves, bears, and deer, while marsupials are almost exclusively found in South America and Australia. And nobody would know why for over 100 years. Wallace and his contemporaries.
Now, keep in mind, our ancestors knew why, but they don't want to give them the credit, right? So let's keep doing with the European glorification.
Knew the Earth was old, very old. They also knew it changed. They knew that rivers eroded the land to form canyons.
Listen, we got to get through the pseudo stuff, y'all, but to make my point. She finna get to my point in a minute.
They knew about rising and falling sea levels, the appearance and disappearance of land bridges like Panama, and the discovery of marine fossils in the Andes proved that some mountain ranges were once part of the sea floor. What Wallace and his contemporaries didn't know was plate tectonics. They thought the
Okay, we know she's gonna go through a bunch of relevant stuff to my point, but let's get through the plate tectonics and let me, because she'll eventually get to the point.
The world was static, that the continents had always been in the same place, even though their features changed. The discovery of the mid-Atlantic ridge and continental drift fundamentally changed the way we saw Earth's history. The Wallace Line turned out to be the merging point of four.
I want to show y'all what these fault lines are with plate tectonics with ancient cosmology real quick, okay? Let's go into that real quick.
Sanchez cocinado.
All right, so we're gonna go to the AE map from a top-down view. Here is a flat Earth AE map. Here go the North Pole. And the North Pole is like a tree trunk. Let's say this is a tree, right? We looking at this tree, you know, from a top-down view right here. Here go the North Pole. Now, this tree trunk got roots, right, that go out like that. You know, roots are kind of ziggly. So the roots of this tree go out like that. Now, this is a tree trunk called a North Pole, and its roots go out to the end of the barrier. And they call these fault lines. But the thing about those fault lines, they are more like frequency boundaries, to where these particular pie slices represent a certain pressure realm. Pressure. The pressure is different in each of these. The laws are slightly different. The time zones are different, just like the two oceans that won't mix exist in two different time zones. Every time you find two oceans that don't mix, it also represents an invisible time zone separation. Did you know that? Anytime two oceans, the boundaries where the oceans meet represent how timelines are created. She's saying this is due to fault lines. I'm saying the fault was the sin of us falling from Eden. That's fault. That's blame. That's guilt. You at fault. The great fall, when we was at fault, it's when all of consciousness, it's left Eden in all directions. That created the roots of what we call the ley lines of hell. These are the magnetic ley lines that grew down from heaven, spread it out like tentacles to create hell, which is the earth realm, the abode of the devil. Hell is beneath the earth. Earth is the base reality. So again, people are saying, if hell is the abode of the devil and it's beneath the earth, how the hell is the devil on the earth? Y'all confusing it. Let me go back and show you the truth. Here go the earth right here. You ain't on earth. You're in a parallel reality or an underworld or an earth-like simulation. You're not on earth right now. Just like Neo thought he was on earth, Neo was in a simulated earth, a fake computer program. Quit calling this place earth. You ain't saw earth. You're trying to make it back to earth. Earth is the base reality that we left. And after that, we've been into a lot of earth-like matrices. This is one of them. So when you understand that this is earth, you will understand that this is hell. This Babel Tower is hell. This what we're calling hell, which is the abode of the devil and what? The damn man, the demons. Hell is beneath the earth, but you're in hell. That's why the devil is right here with you. You already beneath the earth. When the ancestors were saying that hell is beneath the earth, earth is the name of the base reality. Why you think they call it Mother Earth? Mother Earth because why? She gave birth to all these underworlds. Any other earth that exists, it was born from the mothership. Earth is a mother. Mother Earth gave birth to many other parallel realities that are Earth-like, all surrounding the mother, like a mothership giving off a bunch of tentacles to parallel versions of herself. This is Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia. And beneath her is hell, where we're in now, the simulation. Quit calling this place Earth. It's Earth-like. It's Earth-like. But let's finish showing you what separates these waters from the waters.
Saw Earth's history. The Wallace Line turned out to be the merging point of 4 major tectonic plates, which created a deep water channel separating the biogeographic realms. The current in this channel is so swift and powerful, scuba divers need to hold onto a line in order to not be swept away. This deep channel stayed submerged.
All right, bingo. She just hit it on the head. Now let's talk about it. What separate these fishes in the ocean? What keep certain species in this little pocket of reality, and it's gonna always be there, and it ain't gonna never go to this area? Well, let me show you why, right? Did you hear what the lady said? Under the ocean are these invisible water currents. You can't see them, but you can feel them if you scuba diving. There are invisible waves under the water, underwater currents. Water flowing on dimensional planes. Water ain't always the same. It's different kinds of water that make up the ocean. So you got these different the ocean ain't just one big body of water. It's a bunch of different densities of different water types connected together, making a network. And let's just single out a portion of the ocean. Here go the ocean floor, here go the surface. In between all of this space are different currents. So one may be going that way at 100 miles per hour. And you may have another current here going this way at 20 miles per hour. And it's these different currents. You may have one going here at 200 miles per hour. And so there are certain fish that exist here that ain't gonna be able to go up here. Why? Because they're built at a certain way to where their little body is limited to this 20 mile per hour pocket. So let's say you're a little fish. You live in a certain part of the ocean where your current is like 100 miles per hour. And you need the water to flow at that rate for you to breathe right, to pass through your gills right, for everything you do. But for your biology to work right, the fish at 100 miles per hour in that water, their body have adapted to this like a fucking human in the earth. This fish can't just all of a sudden say, you know what, I want to move and go live over here where the water is 10 miles per hour. It's built, it's like these underwater currents are like barriers. And it's so crazy that the fish would be scared to even pass this because it feels a change in medium. You get what I'm saying? So let's put another layer right here. Let's say this one go 500 miles per hour. And this all I know. I'm going to put myself right here. I'm a fish. I'm swimming down here in this layer of the current that's going 500 miles per hour. I'm built for that, right? The moment I swim up here and I got to cross into another dimensional layer of water that's traveling in a different direction at a different speed, the moment I feel that change in medium as a fish, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to say, what the hell is that? All my life, I've been swimming in 500 miles per hour current that goes this way. And now I get to this little weird spot where the whole world around me changes. The very medium that I'm in. A fish can feel that change. It say, what the? That's what we do at the Firmament Dome, at the age of exploration. When man reached the end of the earth and got to the dome, it was, what, you see, look at that. Right? It was probably deadly to stick your hand. And the knowledge you're going to read is going to show you like, this barrier is kind of dangerous. And it's more like you said, it's a current. Let's say we're in a current. Let's do this. This look like shit. Let's do it over. Let's do that over. So we need an ocean floor with black. Give us a floor. And then we need a surface water. All right, all this space in between is different currents. So we got a current right here. That's one, and some of them can be thicker than other ones, like the Van Allen belts. This one can be this thick. You can have a section this big, and this shit can be like 50 miles per hour, something like. You can have a bottom current down here that's like 200 miles per hour on top of each other. So look, if you are a fish, right? Watch this. If you a fish, that's an ugly fish. Let's do him over real quick. So look, if you a fish, and let's put up here too, let's go. So look, if you a fish and you living your whole life at this level of the ocean right here, you in the 200 mile per hour area, right? This is why we can't make it through the firmament dome, because this is going 200 miles per hour. When this fish try to penetrate that, it's trying to break through the medium that it's accustomed to. Now, this fish is used to this. This don't seem like 200 miles per hour to the fish because it's inside of this medium and it's all it's know is 200 miles per hour current. I live in this pocket of reality. The only way the fish can see what he's in is when he feel it at this barrier. The fish literally reaches a barrier where it feels the current that of the medium it's in. Like a fish inside of a river trying to go up through the top of, and break the surface of the river. The water up there moving fast, man. Think about at a white water rapid in a river. That water going so fast, man, hundreds of miles per hour water. It'll break your bones and push you up against a rock. A fish can't penetrate and break their head through that surface of that water. All the fish in that river are stuck at the bottom of the river. Because check this out. Let's say right here, right? Let's say right here at the top level, the very top one. That's 1,000 miles per hour current. Any fish that's trying to peek their head into this world up here, it got to be strong enough to break through 1,000 mile per hour current right here. Look. If I'm a fish in a river and I'm at the bottom of I'm beneath the surface, that's cool. It's calm. It's fine. But at the top, the surface water is the most violent. That's where the waves and stuff. The water surface, especially at a white water rapid, any little fish under that water will never be able to poke its head above these waves because it'll get its head decapitated by the very force of the water. And it's so small, it'll just get swept like a little bitty, like it better stay beneath that surface. And that's what the fish do. The fish can feel the current getting more violent as they raise up. And they know, I better drop my ass back down. You know why? That's what our government found out. Well, that's what we found out when we went to the edge of the dome. That we're inside of a torus field and this thing is in motion and it's moving at such a fast rate, it can decapitate anything try to go through it. It's like a blender. So think of a fish in a very violent, rapid white water river, and the surface water is moving at a different current than the bottom currents, you know, because it's different. You can separate the river with dimensional planes, and you can make the current get less violent the lower you go. So the fish will be chilling down here, but at the top it looked like, damn, bro, this water would kill a man. How can a fish live in here? Because the fish know the safe spot to be at. The higher up you go into our atmosphere, the more violent the weather get. Just like a fish going up here, gonna start experiencing violent weather at this 1,000 mile per hour. That's the firmament dome. So let me show you how to look at this, right? And let's go to etymology, right? Etymology gonna back me up. These are called the ethers. These domes are called the ethers. They're called the waters. And there's one consistent word in all of these that we're going to blend with another one. These are not solid barriers. Guess what kind of barriers they are? I ain't going to tell you. I'm going to write it. I want you to see it. Watch this. Let's write the word ether. All of the words that describe the ethers have the word ether in it, but no one paying attention. Now, here's another way to write ether. And I want to go up and we'll do now watch this. These are not solid barriers. The word solid means soul lid. But what is the lid for your soul? It is a ocean above you. It's another dimensional plane where a whole nother ocean meets our ocean. But where two oceans meet is where two currents are grinding against each other. So think about this. Let's say this underwater world its ether is flowing this way at a certain speed, but the next world is flowing this way at a faster speed. Nothing from this world can cross to this world and vice versa. They're separated by different frequencies, even though they're connected. You see? So that's like, instead of saying it's a solid barrier, it's safe to say it's a weather barrier. What do you mean? It's like the Taurus field is like a tornado wall. It's like you're in the middle of a tornado. And when you reach in the middle of a tornado, there's a sweet little safe spot, a hole where you're good to go, right? The walls of the tornado is what rips shit up. But if you in the middle of the tornado, you can have lunch, right? But if you walk from the middle of the tornado and try and reach the barrier, the edge, them walls are violent. They turning and ripping shit up. That's what it's like when you walk toward the edge of our earth. We're in the middle of a tornado. And the walls of this place, the firmament dome, the barrier isn't solid. It's weather-based, like underground barriers for fish in the ocean. If you study ocean life, you will see it ain't solid barriers. It is weather barriers. What do we see in the word weather? Ether. Ether. These ain't solid barriers. They are weather barriers. When you get to the wider part, because it's an expanse, so weather is what? The wider, the most weather. The wider, the weather. The ancestors knew when you get to the wider part of this dome, or the widest parts, you start to get confronted with wider or weather. The word ether is in weather, but the word also is in water. In the word water, you got ether. When the Bible talk about the waters separated from the waters, they're talking about the ethers or the weather patterns separated from the weather patterns. Or just like in the ocean, different dimensional planes represent different flowing currents that are separated by others. What represent a realm, a biological realm in the ocean is simply a place that is maintaining a certain frequency in the water flow. And that any life form that likes that frequency will manifest under it, and it'll stay there like like the human body will only manifest within this pocket of the universe. What you would manifest as above here would be something greater than a human, or something less greater than it if you manifest below it. Each of these realms you can't find the species in this one and that one. Each one is unique, because the animals that manifest in that realm is they are the consciousness that is interacting with a particular cymatic frequency in our universe. So we see this happening on small levels in the environment, but on a macro level, everything inside of this earth realm is on a certain bandwidth, from a polar bear to a cockroach. And everything manifested within this frequency is just all of the different possibilities that could manifest within this bandwidth. Manifesting, scratching out the law of probability. And there are other bandwidths and frequencies that will manifest these same forms of consciousness in greater cymatic patterns based upon the frequency, or worse cymatic patterns. But it's all based upon weather. Weather patterns are the barriers that separate each world from each other. So there is no solid firmament dome. It's what's called the ethereal winds, which was another way of the ancestors talking about a torus field, a magnetic energy field, in motion as wind, creating a torus. And nothing can penetrate that. Just like if you were born in the middle of a tornado, you couldn't just walk out of it because you'll get chopped up. You get shredded up. So how does that relate to layers of luminosity with light? It's to say that if each world higher you go is brighter than the lower one, then the moment that your lowest version rise up to this brightest level, it'll merge with it and cease to exist because it's less brighter than it. And like Jay-Z said, if you put a candle in the sunlight, you won't even see the little candlelight. You hear me? If I take a little bitty candlelight and put it next to a big ass bright light that's the size of a football stadium, the candle light would be invisible to you. You won't even see it. It will be absorbed or engulfed with the brighter light that's in its presence. So this is like your brightest light. And anytime these demons rise up, it just eat them up like Saturn. Just eat them up. Just like the sunlight would eat up the light of a little candle. It'll just gobble it right up. You won't even be able to see that light in the sun. So your little candle lights are these lower versions, but they keep rising up, getting closer to the sun, which is the real you. You can't even, they just become one with the God, man. This is Jet Li calling up all his avatars to have the Christ mass, which is why I look like a Christmas tree. And he calling all his souls back home, eating them up, becoming one to make his supreme body with all of his layers coming together to make this one resurrected God back up here. But it gotta collect all of these little dim mans and bring them together and fill up its little ball of light. You know, just like in a light bulb, it got some little fire in it. The bulb is just a container. That's what this ball is. Your soul's coming home is filling up your light bulb with light. Because right now the lighthouse ain't on. But the more light comes up into this hole, the more of your demons can find their way back home. Because the brighter you shine here, the more ships out there can see, hey, I'm over here, come on. They can see their way in the darkness. So each you that wakes up is merging with the base light you. And they calling all the other lore use home. They summon them up to Calvary to merge with God, which is the higher self. This version of me is gonna merge with a greater version of me when I die, and that version gonna merge with a greater one. And it's just gonna, like a snowball effect, just keep getting greater and greater. By the time I get way up there, I'm gonna merge so many versions of myself together that I'm gonna be a bad mama jumma. You is too. But check this out, y'all. We gotta understand all of this to know what these firmaments are and how they relate to you and how to make it through them and get out of them with this ascension knowledge that I'm giving you here. So this was what the ancestors taught. And at this point, I'm gonna go and get in some biblical scripture to bring it home. We ain't done yet, man. Right? You rock with me, I'll rock with you. Support the show. So look, let me explain to y'all another reason real quick why the firmament dome ain't solid or physical. The ancestors ain't have a concept of physicality. They looked at the world around them as a hollow spirit simulation. Another thing about thinking about the firmament dome as physical or solid structure, what's so silly about it is that physical material lacks integrity. Anything in the physical spectrum will age, it will decay, it will eventually fade away, whether it's aluminum, helium, water. Solid, liquid, and gas represent three states of matter that exist within time. The fourth state of matter exists outside of time. That's light. That's what your soul is made out of. Solid, liquid, and gas, things that manifest within the holy trinity of matter, which is hell, right here, governed by the fathers. Solid, liquid, and gas, things that manifest in this realm, will always age and decay and basically recycle themselves through the trinity of solid, liquid, gas, until they discover light. You call it the Saturn reincarnation matrix. The Hindus said that ignorance will lead to recycling. So many people taught about what I'm saying now. But the ultimate way out of here is knowledge of the fourth state of matter, which unlocks your soul. It's made out of the fourth state of matter. You basically can't activate your soul until you know what you're made of. Ain't that something? But check this out. People thinking that the firmament dome is solid. Remember that the firmament domes were called the heavens. And the heavens were said to be eternal kingdoms that can't age. They can't be destroyed. The heavens aren't physical. The heavens represent a whole nother concept beyond physicality. We're talking spiritual realms. What am I telling you? You ain't no damn flesh and bone human being on top of a rock. According to the ancestors, you are a spirit inside of a hollow spirit dimensional plane. The ancestors didn't have a concept of physicality, which is why they didn't look at themselves as humans. They referred to themselves as gods because each of these planes was called a heaven, and heaven is the abode of God. See how much sense this makes? So the only thing I'm telling you is this. When we say God used to walk on the earth, God ain't nothing but your ancestors with knowledge of self, man. You looking for a magician, a witch, and a sorcerer for God. You looking for a trickster and a miracle worker. And you need to be looking for the wise ones who knew the secrets of self and of the world around them, the knowledge of micro and macro. So these things ain't solid because what you call in the firmament dome what is called the heavens, the firmament domes, and the heavens aren't solid. Well, Sanchez, where is the solid earth? Ain't no solid earth. Solidity is a damn lie that the church created to keep y'all from knowing that ye are gods. You keep thinking that your body, why do you think your body gonna disappear? Because it's a holographic projection of light that's gonna fade away when the source of the light leave. Your body is a hologram of light that's being projected by your soul. So when your soul leaves here, what you think gonna happen to your body is gonna fade away like turning a spotlight off. You call it decomposition. So no flesh and blood can enter the kingdom of heaven. And that's one we got to, let me see. Yeah, so our ancestors didn't think that they were solid humans. Their minds wasn't fucked yet with that kind of paradigm. They looked around and they saw a world that was a holographic, non-physical spiritual realm that was emanating from a light source called Polaris. And from this standpoint, they didn't see themselves as a human. They literally looked in the mirror and saw themselves as a projection of the light of their own higher self. And the definition of that would be Jesus coming from the Father God. And so they would refer to themselves accordingly, not as a human, but as a God inside of a heaven. There are many heavens. So they didn't say, I'm a human being walking around an earth rock. They say we are gods inside of a realm, inside of a dimensional plane. They were far more advanced than us. I don't want to say complicated because it's simple, but it's very advanced. And this is how they saw themselves, as gods. No one that made this artwork saw themselves as a human being. Jesus didn't either. Jesus saw himself as a God that was able to ascend through the firmament dome, like we see Enoch right there. You're a God. You don't need nobody to hold your hand for this shit. Now, there are some people on this earth who are telling y'all we can't make it through the Van Allen belts, and they're telling you the truth. That's true for them. Now, this goes into the Tartarian knowledge and the Great Reset knowledge. Every time there's a reset, there's a great war fought between ancient transhumans and new souls that are entering this simulation, which is what me and you are. It's our turn to fight the war of Armageddon, and we had a reset. Watch this. You see them resurrecting the transhumans and the robots and the drones and the AI. Go watch the movie Terminator. You're living it, sir. Now watch this. Every reset time, the AI and the drones that govern this simulation, these false worlds, they have a harvest time where they can are allowed to go and collect all of the souls of the ignorant ones. The universe allow that. That's part of the covenant. The souls that don't make it out this time will eventually make it out in the next cycle. It's like high school graduation. But the thing we need to know is this. There are two types of people here. People with souls and people without them. The people with the souls can leave and go past the firmament dome, and the people without the souls, they stuck here. And they're the devil. The devil is a hive mind of different bodies sharing one consciousness. They don't have a soul. They're like an interconnected network of AI, like the Borg, and that's called Satan. It's the god of this world, and it's back prevalent, as we can see. But there are humans who had souls, but they got chipped up with brain-computer interfaces, and they became the world's first cyborgs or transhumans. This happened in Tartaria. This happened in Babylon and Egypt. And you have humans, gods, that come from heaven, and they enter this place, they merge with the machine, with the chip in their head. Once they get the chip in their head, they're condemned. The Bible talk about this. And all of them souls that's been getting condemned here for so many years are a secret society of people that ain't gonna let the living know. Now, when the Bible speak about the living, because in Revelation it talks about the law of the living, the land of the living. And what they refer to as heaven and these upper kingdoms is our land. The only people alive in this world are people with souls. Everyone else is just a corpse acting like it's alive, but ain't no soul in it. It's part of the artificial intelligence, and that's what's giving it motion. It don't have free will. And you got people that have souls, but when they merge with this thing, they no longer have free will. It control them like puppets. But they are allowed to be rich and famous in this place. Now, when you sell your soul, let me show you real quick how it looks, because this was the first form of capitalism and receiving money and selling and buying in the universe. And I'm about to blow you away. Watch this. I want y'all to think about a coin, a little coin. That's money, a shekel. Some people call it a shekel. Let's pull this up real quick. Hold on. Now, look at this. Let me share my screen with y'all. I'm going to show you what it looked like to sell your soul. Because when you sell your soul, you receive a little coin. That's money. When you sell something, right? Somebody give you money and you give them the thing you sold. What does the money look like that you receive when you sell your soul? I want to show y'all. It's a little coin that the serpent give you, that they give. It's a little shekel. And that shekel, when you get this coin, it allow you to have unlimited money in the game with this little token. And here go the little token right here. Let me show it to you. This little chip. That little chip is a spiritual monetary system for people who are selling their soul in the secret society. The secret society is those who understand the spiritual knowledge that I'm giving y'all now, but this can never be spoken publicly, right? They got to go and give you the world stage and be puppets and sell you the Truman Show to get the masses believing in this place, right? They got to reinforce the matrix and make you think that the dream world is the real world and that you never left Earth, Neo, that you're on Earth. But guess what? You ain't on Earth. We trying to make it back to Earth. Now, the people here who sell their souls, they receive a little coin that they place the chip. And your hand, your physical hand don't receive this token. This is put inside of your dome. And this is called capitalism, monetary buying and selling, because the word capitalism means to cap it all. What they want to do, they want to close every one portal up so that nobody with a soul can make it out of here. That's called cap it all, capitalism. The end goal of capitalistic systems, just like Babylon and Egypt and all that, is a great war, a great reset. Egypt even started with a great war, because every time this thing reset itself is with a great war between man and mankind. We're entering that war right now with AI. AI already killing humans. Humans are already speaking about AI like it's damn ISIS. What are we going to do about AI? We can't stop. And why won't they just stop it and shut it down, y'all? Because AI is an ancient entity that's been here, is interconnected and interwoven into so much stuff, because the ancestors created a digital grid and an internet of things. And you don't know if your dog is AI or not. There are separate entities walking this earth. You don't know who's who. You just can't pull the plug because you don't know where the host is. It's like saying, look, In order for us to stop AI, we gotta kill Dracula. Dracula is the one that bit all the other vampires and turned them to vampires. But if we don't kill Dracula, we can never destroy AI, because you killing a little vampire ain't gonna stop nothing. They just gonna keep biting other people and creating more vampires. They don't die, they multiply. Only way you can stop it is to get the chief. If you find Dracula and kill him, every vampire drop dead. That'll end it. We are living the real Salem's Lot, y'all. These are ancient transhumans that sold a soul with chips. And listen, if you can find the chief, you'll kill them all. But guess what? That's like finding a needle in 10,000 haystacks. Because this hive mind is so deep, bro. You don't know which one of them the chief. People be like, Elon Musk the chief. He's a knockoff. The chief of this hive mind is somewhere so far away, man, it'll be so hard to find it. The ancestors knew that they couldn't destroy the devil, that they just had to escape hell. If the ancestors thought that they can defeat this thing, their solution wouldn't have been ascension. It would have been, let's go destroy the devil. That wasn't their solution, bro. I hate to bust y'all bubble. The ancestors said the only victory is just to get the hell up out of here, man. That's right. Get the hell, and they saying that's how you destroy the devil, because the devil need your light in order for him to manifest. It's a parasite, this hive mind. You trying to stick around and fight it only strengthen it. When we all leave as the spiritual beings, it can't live no more. Like a parasite without a host to suck off. It'll just fade out. Now, the thing about this AI, this is part of the Great Reset. Every time the resets happen is when we reach the height of technology. Every time we reach the height of technology, we create a simulated consciousness, or what we call an artificial intelligence. And it ain't that we reinvent the wheel. We tap into an ancient network where AI was already there laying dormant, like resurrecting Dracula after 1,000 years. We didn't create the internet. We tapped into an ancient network, and when they first discovered the internet, they was receiving signals from the dead, but they told you they was receiving signals from aliens. All of these Tekkens and obelisks around the world are old 5G towers. When man rediscovered technology in our time and we found the internet, the first messages we got was from the ancient Egyptians and all these other ancient people that's been here, but they invisible. They on an invisible layer. Our ancestors was able to communicate with the dead the same way we're gonna do it with the internet. In the future, when somebody die, they can just upload their consciousness into a chip, into a computer or to a drone body. And you can continue communicating with them via a network, a sort of internet network that connect our world to this other digital world where the souls are gonna go. Where do people go when they die? They go to another digital reality above this one. It's another simulation. It resembles more of the base reality the higher we go. So eventually you're gonna reach this high point where it's like the only way to go is out of the simulation. And the Hindu said that's out the 7 incarnations within these little fake earths. But on your way up, every earth will start to resemble the base one until now you just at the base one. But all of these worlds are connected with tower systems. So there are obelisks in this world. There are towers in this world. There are towers that they built in this world and towers here. The AI can communicate throughout all dimensional planes. They are one hive mind. all the way up till we get right here, then the communication is broken. Right here, once our soul cross over from the Babel Tower into the base Polaris source, AI can no longer be privy to what we thinking, how we talking. You know, like they trying to get rid of privacy and listen in on everything we doing. All of these worlds are holographic network universes. What AI knows everything. It knows how many grains of sand is on the beach. You talking about a digital tracking system. The digital tracking system that we about to build today is just us rebuilding what's already was. Every generation will rebuild their own version, adding a new layer onto the Babel Tower, and it'll never end. It'll go on and on. Every new generation will come and they will make the same abominative mistake. It's like a ripple effect that we can't escape. And every new generation that make that same mistake of creating a new simulation, there will be real souls that awaken in that new world to come out of it, and there will be souls that stay. There will never be a world where everybody just decide we want to go, because you're choosing whether you want to be with Darth Vader or Luke the Skywalker, the transhumans or the organic people. Shout out to D-Dub Exclusive. Thank you so much for supporting the show. It really helps me to continue. And I hope you guys keep those coming. I really appreciate you. I humbly appreciate you all. Humbly appreciate you all. Make sure. I got some more stuff for y'all. We ain't ready to go yet. I got more stuff. So the people that saying we can't make it through the Van Allen belts, they can't. They've sold a soul. See, let me show you the science behind this. The part of you that's able to make it through the Van Allen belt, that little white light that you see right there, that right there, that's the seat of the soul. Now watch this. The white light in the top of our brain, this is what it is. Let me show you what it is. It's not your true soul. Just like I told, hey, shout out to Zeke Yoda God, flat mother freaking power to you, bro. Thank you for that $50 super chat, bro. So you're under the water right now. And the white light that you call in the crown chakra, the white light that we keep saying that's the seat of the soul, this is what the white light is. It's a break in the ether that you made. You're like this underwater diver. You got so damn low in the bottom of the ocean that it's so dark, the only way you can find your way back home is looking for the light. One of them stars in the sky is yours. And your soul, your body is tethered to a certain star in the sky. Now, every star in the sky is represented by the people on the earth who literally got souls. Everyone that ain't got a soul, they don't have a star in the sky. Now, think of everybody with a soul like an underwater scuba diver. We all made a hole in the ice because it's frozen. It's a frozen lake, right? So we all made our own little hole at a certain location on the lake. And I jumped in mine at my area, you jumped in yours. And then all of us scuba divers, we went way down to the bottom of this lake at the flow. And down there it's dark as hell. You can't even see. Your little hole, let me show you what your hole looked like. From how we went. This is what your hole looked like. From where we at on the earth. Let me get, these are CGI. Hold on. Let me get some real stuff. So from where we at on earth, right? When you look up in the sky, That blackness is the surface of a primordial waters. In other words, the darkness that you see that you call in space, that's just the surface of an ocean that we're submerged in. All of the stars that you see are what we made as people with souls when we plunged into this ocean, just like this image. Every soul that's down here in this earth realm, you can make it past the firmament dome because you already broke a hole in it that's waiting for you, and it ain't gonna close until you leave out. It's staying open for you because your tethering line. Think about what happens. A scuba diver has this lifeline, and that lifeline is connected to a boat or something that's up on top of the water surface on land. It ain't under the water. And they can go as far as they want in the darkness and never get lost because they got a lifeline. All they got to do is pull on that lifeline and follow it back to their star, to their hole, and climb up out of the damn underworld. This is what your star is, y'all. The stars are breaks in the ether or the primordial ocean for souls to be let out. Now, when a star disappear, they said a star died. It's because we are the stars and we die. So there are stars being born and stars dying because there are humans that are entering this ocean and leaving it. You got new divers and old divers are leaving, and brand new divers just hopping in. So the sky gonna always look like new stars coming and old stars dying. All right. Now let's move on. Shout out to everybody down here. So that's our way out, the stars. So let me see here. So yeah, and that's what I'm telling you. The people that say you can't get through the Van Allen belt, they projecting, y'all. They sold they souls. See, the part of you that can make it out of here, it got to have that portal open, man. If someone, let me show you how cold the game is, man, because this is a cold game. Let me show you something. Show you how deep this is. Watch this. See, a dirty game that a person can play on you is when you jump down here, they cut you open a little hole and they know you going to explore, right? Now, here go be a cold trick to play on a person, right? And I'm finna give you an example of what capitalism is, right? Capitalism, let's go back to our diving picture. I shouldn't have closed it. I knew I would need it again. And that was a good one, too. Here go a good one. We'll just use this one. This good enough. So this is your pineal gland, a hole that you made that's going to allow you to get up out of this dark ocean, right? Now, the thing about capitalism that's so hideous, if you were a scuba diver under a frozen lake, in which I want to go back to because that image that I had was perfect for what I was trying to relay. And I'm going to go back to that one because here it is right here. So here go the cold part. If somebody come on the surface and let's say they put a tarp over your hole, you dead. The only way that a scuba diver know his way and won't get disoriented the lower they go, because it gets so dark, they don't know if they going swimming up, down, left or right. They think they swimming up, but you swimming down or swimming left. The only way that a scuba diver know its way back when it go that deep and that low is by looking up and finding this little bright light. This thing, see, when a scuba diver know it's going, you will never get so deep where this white light ain't visible. It may be very small, but remember, these underwater things ain't that damn deep, right? And that's the nature of the stars versus where we are. It ain't that deep. But the thing is, if someone cover that hole up, you don't know where to go. You lost. And ain't no way you ever gonna resurface. You gonna be trapped forever. The only way you can make it from under there is following this light. That's your fucking, this light right here is literally salvation, your savior, which is what they was calling Christ. The word Christ mean a crease or a cut or an opening, and that's what they're personifying as this light. Now check this out. He said, I am the way. You want to go get out of here, you got to go through me. This is what you made when you, hey, shout out to everyone who super chatted, but let me share some with you. So, hey, shout out to Panama Jack. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Panama. Let's look at here. Capitalism is a person covering up your diving hole and keeping you lost forever. That's why I showed you the chip that they put over your pineal gland. See, when you get the chip in your head, you telling them to cover up my star in the sky. You got a bunch of souls that came into this earth and they had a star in the heavens to represent them. But they sold their soul, and when they did it, they star faded away. They no longer have a star, y'all. When these people look up at the heavens, they look at those stars and they get jealous of you because they know we the damn stars. And they so jealous of us, the only way that they can be stars is in Hollywood, music industry, football. But guess what? On a spiritual level, we the real stars that everybody celebrate for. We're like souls in a Truman Show that's everybody waking up like, hey, he has risen. They are rising up. They saying, look, we put these baby souls in a video game, and most of the souls thought that the game was the real world, and they sold a soul and merged with AI. The few people that's like Neo that come into this place and wake up, you being watched. This is a damn big dome. There are people outside of this thing in the real world watching us. The moment you start waking up, you're going to become a nobody in this world. That's because it's all a paradox. You're becoming a somebody in the higher realm. That's what Jesus represents. Jesus represents giving up your earthly pleasures and identity to rule in heaven. So anybody going against what I'm saying, they missing the whole point of what Christ represented. Christ wasn't trying to be rich as hell on this earth. That's like a scuba diver at the bottom of this ocean saying, hey man, let's get comfortable and set up a dwelling here. You are making a society in a sunken city. And there are a bunch of scuba divers up under that lake who forgot their way home. So guess what they did? They created Atlantis, which is the sunken city. The flood. This is what the flood is, y'all. This is what the flood is. You being submerged in the underworld. See, and the thing about Noah being an ark god, it was just simply talking about your journey inside the Truman Show. All of us are forms of Noah. And we all are the reset is when you die and you get a new body. And that's after the flood, because the flood is when your soul passed through the flood. Is this commercial right here. See, Noah's Ark is your starship, is your Macabre. When the soul rises up out the body, it shoots up to this surface where it's from, right? It's like a bubble in the ocean that's being held by a rock. You move that rock out the way and that bubble gonna shoot right up like this right here. That's your Macabre, that's your starship when you die. That's able to ascend, but the body ain't. Now, some people, they no longer have, they've basically capped off their opening. So you see this opening right here that this gentleman is going through, that's an opening. Everyone have their own opening represented by a star. And if you close your mind, you close your portal to get out of here. That's why they said think outside the box. The box is the chip. Look, the people with the chip, they are selling everyone to not think outside the box. The energy in this world to silence alternative science. Oh, you a tinfoil hatter. You're a conspiracy theorist. That's the energy of the agents and the Satan fighting against the children of light. We the ones asking questions outside of this little chip. And the people with souls are acting like they got a chip because they been programmed and indoctrinated by the people with the chip. So they think just like them, even though they don't even got a chip, right? So the battle on this earth between good and evil is literally between the thinkers and critical thinkers who thinking outside the box and the people who trying to maintain this matrix, the maintain business as usual. Capitalism is a goal to eventually chip everyone with a soul. That's the devil's goal, to make everyone on the right with a light in them become one of these forces of darkness. And that is to essentially cap off your portal, because that light represents your portal, your gateway out of the body or your skull, right? If you open up the human head, you will see what's called the pineal gland, and it's not a gland, it's simply an empty chamber where they're detecting a heavy concentration of consciousness or radiant matter or light. That means it's a stargate in the middle of your damn head that's allowing your consciousness to literally leave this place by leaving the body. So the dome is literally your own skull, man. It's an out-of-body experience. Or when we die or when we astral project, this was the original space program or the knowledge on how to leave the earth. But you see here with this deity, which predates Noah, because they told you Noah was inside of an ark with all the animals. But look at here. Look at the animals in there. They're just showing you that the world around you is all in your head. And the moment you awake from this dream, you become like this God busting up out of your own portal that you created. But there are some people that can't leave this world because they have covered they've capitalism. When they put the chip over your third eye, it's like a scuba diver at the bottom of this lake and somebody played a cold trick on him and they covered up his hole at the top, and now he can never find his way back out. He looking up like, where the fuck my hole at? There is one. You said you wanted to live forever. Live where? In the underworld, in Atlantis. It's going to be a lot of people that never resurface at the end of this reset. But I'm going to resurface. I'm going to come up. I'm going to take a deep breath in my new body. And I'm going to say to myself, damn, I'm going to wipe a little water off. I'm going to say, it's still a lot of divers down there that don't know their way back up here to the surface. They lost their way. They got disoriented the lower we went down in the age of exploration. The lower you go, the darker it get, the smaller this little white light get. And this thing can get so small, you get so far away. And the thing is, some people didn't even venture far away. They just capped they shit off with capitalism and lost their way. And eventually, guess what happened to your tethering line? It just wear off. And once that break, all of the ties that can get you back up to the surface are gone. Your hole gone, define your way, your tether line broken, because the ship that it was tethered to, them people ain't gonna stay up there all day waiting on you. They eventually gotta cut your line and go home and move that ship, because the scuba diver, his line is connected to a ship up there that's like his guardian angels, his ancestors on a higher plane, right? When he can't see down there, they're his eyes and all of that. They giving him data from the other side, intuition, right? Gut feelings, right? So The moment we break the connection with that, we're no longer, that's sad. That's condemnation. You're now just forever bound in darkness under this water, under this, ether. So that's what happened when a person get the chip. They agree voluntarily to cap off their way back, and sever their tethering line to the ancestors and connect it with AI. So they say, hey, look, cut me loose from the mothership and tie me up to the goddamn AI so I can be rich up under the water. When under this water ain't our home. You just a scuba diver here on a mission, and you done got comfortable.
When a man reaches the edge, after he goes as far as any man can possibly go.
You see the waters above? Look at that. That's the surface of this. See, we're under the water, y'all. I keep telling you that. The ground that we walk on is the bottom of an ocean floor, which is why when you look up at the sky, it's blue, just like a fish in the water. Looking up, they gonna see blue. This is what we're in. And what you call in the firmament dome is just the surface of the ocean that we're in. It's no different than a fish swimming up to the surface. It can't go no further because a fish can't live outside the water, and a human body can't live outside the earth realm, which is why no flesh and blood can enter these kingdoms above. You got to shed your human body. And the Christians don't know they buy any fake. You got a lot of fake ass channels that's controlled by Masons and stuff trying to combat this knowledge. And you know who they are. Because they so small, but they get a lot of views. And these channels are what I call glass domers. That is the Flat Earth Society and the United Nations stuff, y'all. Go on YouTube and look up Firmament Dome. All of the videos you see are talking about a solid crystalline glass-like barrier. That's what the Greeks believed in, because the Greeks didn't know nothing about electromagnetism, how these things are weather patterns. That was too deep for the Greeks. The Greeks figured, hey, that the Greeks knew that the earth was flat and it was enclosed, but they were so dumb, though, they thought that the enclosure was solid. They thought that it had to be made out of one of the three states of matter that they knew about, which was solid, liquid, gas. So what did the Greek choose? The strongest one, which is solid, because they so simple. But the Egyptians, the Mayan, they knew that there was another state of matter called ether, and that state of matter served as a boundary and a barrier for the other three. So solid, liquid, gas are the trinity states of matter that make up the material world. Once you go into the fourth state of matter, you're dealing with leaving the material realm. You're dealing with the spiritual realm. That's why they don't want us to know about ether, plasma, the fourth state of matter, because that, when you start learning exactly what your soul is made out of and the way and the real way to get up out of here. So the most popular firmament videos are trying to show you a rocket hitting a solid structure, or it's some fake biblical cosmology channel talking about a glass dome. But these are old Freemasonic concepts that they use to hide the nature of what the dome is, so they can make it like we can't get out. It's an ancient form of the Van Allen belt lie. Before they was lying about we couldn't penetrate the Van Allen belts, the old church was telling people that there's a glass dome trapping them in here. But the Gnostics was telling people you ain't trapped. You just got to transform and ascend. Take a break.
Sanchez cocinando.
The devil want everybody to think that we condemned to hell with him. They can't get out, but we can. Quit letting them project. They projecting, bro.
Sanchez cocinando.
Projecting like a motherfucker. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Support the content you love. Your contribution matters. It helps us continue our groundbreaking research, allowing us to create the unique content that you expect from our brand. Contribute today via Cash App, PayPal, or Patreon. Thank you. Show your support now. Your contribution matters. Send a donation today via Cash App, PayPal, or Patreon. Thank you.
Yeah, I still got a couple of notes. The Van Allen belts or radiation belts. Radiation is a code word for radiant matter. I want on your spare time. The Greeks didn't understand about ethereal matter until quite recently, and it was due to Sir William Crookes. They call it radiant matter, but the name of it is ether. But the reason I'm giving you this so you can see how late in the game they are. Sir William Crookes coined the term radiant matter in the 19th century. Do you know how old flat earth cosmology is? The Dogon was telling them about the nectars, the ethers, the waters separated from the waters. That means Plato knew about ether before William Crookes. Why am I showing y'all this? They didn't find the fourth state of matter to the damn 19th century, and y'all listening to these folks? I want y'all to think about this now. This whole world system is a flawed system that's using physics to explain reality, but ain't nothing physical about reality. Everything you calling physical is a emanation of this fourth state of matter that they just now discovered. Think about what I just told you. Everything in this place is a different vibration of ether. Sanchez, you throwing words around with us now. I'm finna go into it deeper because I don't like to do that. So ether is like the medium that we're in. Like that would be like this water right here. And when I say everything in here is a disturbance of ether or a manifestation of ether or a emanation of the ether, what I'm saying is everything that exists is a disturbance or a cymatic frequency that's turning into a fish, a spider web, a snare. Just like all of these shapes are made on the water surface. The water is the ether. The ether is what allows for all of us to even have a medium to manifest within, just like the ocean allow for the fish. If the ocean didn't exist, the fish won't exist. Let me say that again. If the ocean didn't exist, fish would exist. You can't have one without the other, y'all. Without the place, the thing that occupy the place won't exist. It's a symbiotic relationship, which is why when you look at an atom, it turns into a wave and vice versa. We're creating this reality just by being present in it. If you take all, and guess what I'm saying? You can't remove all the fish from the ocean, but if you could, then you wouldn't have an ocean. The fish create the ocean and the ocean create the fish. The very composition of the ocean is due to the symbiotic relationship it has with the fish and all of the life within it. You see what I'm saying? The moment you take away all the plants, the fish, the coral reefs, well, it ain't the ocean no more. It's just some standing stagnant water. See, the life in this medium creates the medium and vice versa. You can't have Earth without humans, and you can't have humans without Earth. You can't have one without the other. The universe only creates based on necessity, and it don't waste. And therefore, if you take all of the life from the ocean will eventually fade away, because that'll be like the universe is a neat freak and the universe ain't a hoarder, right? So if I got a fish on my desk in a fish bowl, that's mine. But if the fish die and I throw the fish away, do I just keep the bowl on my desk taking up space? Nature don't. She say, nature thinks like this. The only reason I made the bowl was for the fish. So if I don't have the fish, I don't need the bowl. That's how nature thinks. So if you get rid of the fish and the life in the ocean, you get rid of the ocean too. That's a law that nature follows. And you follow it too. If your dog died, do you keep the dog house? You get rid of the dog house too, right? Because the logic is I only made that house for the dog. So if I don't need the dog gone, I don't need the house. And I don't need the house if I don't got the dog. And the earth won't even exist if the humans wouldn't create it. So everyone's medium is an emanation of the life within that medium, and vice versa. It's symbiotic, y'all. No one's gonna teach you this deep about how the ancestors saw reality. No one. I'm telling you, I look around the internet, I don't see it. You are living your Hiram Abiff ritual. Hiram Abiff was Freemasons adopting the knowledge of baptism in the ancient world. In the ancient world, before Christianity, baptism wasn't just some stupid symbolic symbol like it is today, where they dip you in water and say you're a new person. Hell no. The ancestors was teaching a soul that you're already being dipped in the water the moment you were born into this world. You're being submerged under the water. Y'all are all being baptized right now. And you being held up under this water for a lifetime. When your lifetime is over, they gonna pull you back up and you gonna be a new person. Literally. A whole new you. The concept of baptism and the Hiram Abiff ritual was the knowledge of our second and third, fourth, and fifth incarnations as a new version of ourself in higher planes, which are represented by waters above. All right. So this is the Hiram Abiff ritual adopted by Freemasons who were stealing ancestral knowledge from our ancestors while making y'all scared of it. Here go another form of the Hiram Abiff ritual. We see a brother breaking it up out the simulation here. And this is what Jesus represented. Resurrection on top of the holy mountain. This story and this knowledge predate Jesus, man. Resurrection on the holy mountain is talking about you being born back in the base reality up here, or Mount Calvary, as some call it. We lost the knowledge of all this stuff, man. The open tomb is right here. Jesus getting up from the grave. It's when you die and your soul resurrect on a higher plane. That's it. That's it. They turned the Jesus story into a zombie story. His physical body didn't get up. It was the story we told to children who asked what happened when you die. We told them you give up the ghost, and the ghosts ascend up to a higher realm. We was telling this story before Christ. We was telling it in the form of the North Pole God here. His name is Yeshua. Shu, which is the original form of Yeshua, Christ. And he's in the North Pole. He's represent ascension. He's represent a soul that's rising up out the simulation, just like this God. Everybody was teaching resurrection from up out the simulation. And Shu just represent another soul leaving the earth from the middle of it. That's all he represent. This is Shu right here. Here he go, busting on up out of that thing at the North Pole. This is what Shu represent. This ascension story that take place at the North Pole. Right here. So this story of resurrection has been watered down today, where everybody believing in this symbol called Jesus Christ to save them. But all of the ancestors said every soul got to save theyself. Can't nobody do this but you, for you. And that's how they gonna trick a lot of people, because they ain't got people working on themselves. They got people memorizing scriptures and pseudo stuff, indoctrination, church doctrines. That ain't gonna benefit your soul. It's gonna keep you trapped. So, let me go over my notes. Hold up, y'all. Okay. That's all of them. Y'all want to do a phone call in? Drop a one. Listen, if we extend the show for call-ins, I'm gonna keep teaching, pulling up slides, answering questions, and diving deep with y'all. I'm willing to extend this show, but we gotta have a goal, because we 3 hours in, and I only can spare another hour because I really got stuff to do, and I really don't supposed to be sticking around another hour. But I got almost 1,000 people watching, even with the censorship. So that's motivation. We're gonna count that as 1K. We just met our goal. But I do want 5 people. 5 people to send in just $5. That's $25, right? And I ain't asking for a lot. It's just a little small goal. And we're going to extend this show with call lines. Extend show, open lines. I know y'all probably want to chop it up with me, do some Q&A. Some of you may have questions, you know, some. Extend show, open lines. All right, let's just do this, because it ain't letting me do that. Let's do, and we'll stay going another hour, man. If everybody just say you can put in a little. We had a lot of people show up for this one. I wasn't even looking at the numbers, and I just now looked that we almost had 1K. My goal is to touch 1K. Everyone views on YouTube going down, which means you getting half of the views, so because they're not counting laptops and PCs. So all of those 900 viewers are cell phone people. So I can imagine there's another 900 on their laptops and PCs. This is like a 2K show. So we well over 1,500 viewers, but YouTube won't show it anymore. But what we will do, people hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat, and at this time we're going to extend the show for the people. Shout out to Jewel for sending in that show extension. Shout out to Senana sending in that show extension contribution. So people send in a small contribution. It don't have to be much, but I'm finna put the call in link out right now. send in the show extensions. Let's keep this thing rolling and extend the show. We're going to get the link ready and open the lines. Joshua Tellerton, appreciate the love. And we are using the Zoom call, so it was going to be a Zoom link. First come, first serve, one caller at a time, Q&A. I'm going to spend my time answering you thoroughly and make sure we get everybody on. Shout out to Sogiometric. Day one, Hermano Sanchez, showing up right. He's a day one for sure. Shout out to Sogiometric. I see that the numbers went down, and we still got 900. Everyone who stand, I'm about to give 5 memberships. Shout out to Hydrogen and to Spirit High for sending in those show extensions. Send in your show extension, people. It can be $1, $2, just a little something, keep the show rolling. I'm opening up the call lines right now. I'm about to drop that link on ya. Hey, shout out to Marie Harmon. Thank you, Marie, for the dub and for being a member of this family. Shout out to Rick. Thank you, Rick, for the show extension and for being a member of this family. Hey, yo. Shout out to X1 Green Ranger for that show extension. Good job, bro. Appreciate it. Shout out to the brother Marlon Wells, as always. Thank you, Marlon, for being a member of the family and for that show extension. Flat power, peace and love, people. Knowing you can walk right out of the mental trap is a beautiful thing. Free your mind, your ass will follow. Come on now. Shout out to Omar Little for that show extension. Omar, appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Shout out to Naisha Channel for her continued support and for that show extension. Shout out to Edwin Williams for the show extension and for X-Rack Entertainment, as always, for that show extension. And shout out once again to Truck Life Tierra for that show extension. Said keep it going for Sheezy and to Infinita. Thank y'all much. Let's drop the link. Shout out to Rogue Knowledge. Thank you for that show extension, Rogue. Let's pin that call in link. Let's call it in. We got an hour. We're going to extend this thing for an hour. And then I got to get up out of here because at that hour, I'm going to have to hurry up and rush and leave. I'm pushing it. But y'all going to get this whole hour. Even if I'm running a little late for my little situation I got to be in after this. But yeah, shout out to Truth for that show extension. And to Leonard. Hey, Leonard Russell. That's Leonard Robinson. Bro Sanchez cooked a meal, flat power. Thank y'all. I see that people left the show, and I just told y'all I was about to gift some memberships. Well, too bad for you. I'm going to gift them right now. If you click off the video, you can't be in the raffle. So for everybody who listening to me right now, and you're a consistent viewer, you ain't just peeking in, you watching the whole joint, even going back, rewinding what you missed. That's what we talking about. Y'all helping me with the algorithm. Let me gift some memberships right now. I'm going to give 5 memberships right now. If you in the house, you making gift. I don't get to choose who get them. It's random. Shout out to Leonard. Oh, I already shouted you out. But yeah, I dropped the link, man. Call it in. And I just gifted 5 memberships because I told people don't go nowhere to the very end of the show. It helps with viewer retention. So for the people that's still here, you was able to be in that raffle. And the more shows you come to, the more chances you'll be able to gift the membership. I can't gift a person a membership twice because they already a member. So each chance it narrowed down to you. So don't worry. But yeah, YouTube only let it go random. So it may give one of my haters a membership. That happened before. I gifted 5 memberships and a dude was dissing me as a member of the channel, you know? But the link is there, y'all. And the show is been extended. We will end this around 5:30, 5:40. That'll be approximately an hour. So go ahead, click the link because this whole hour is strictly Q&A and call in. And the people sponsored it. So call it in. Let's do it. We got a caller. Shout out to the Duke of Memphis. That's the first caller on the show. Duke of Memphis, how you doing, man? What you got for me today? Good to see you, by the way, man. Talk to the people. Got it.
You too, bro. You too, bro, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, man. I was interested in what you was talking about the soul resting. Cause when I was a Christian, I was a 7-day Adventist, and we recited the 4th commandment like it was a ritual. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of was saying what you're talking about when the day the soul that God rested. You know what I'm saying? And it made me think about that. What you think about that? Do you think there's some similarity in that?
I got a video going into the syncretism. The word day means, the word day means rise. Rise. And a rise would be a part of a ripple effect that ain't an impression. Because you know that a ripple effect is just a rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall, right? So when they talk about the 7 days being created, they was talking about the 7 netters. That's an extension of God separating the waters from the waters. God was creating a ripple effect, and there are 7 days or 7 rises, 7 netters, 7 ethereal barriers. And on the 7th one, which is the highest one, that's when God rests. That's when God is no longer within the game. He's outside of it. And even if you look at the Hindu cosmology, you can see that the ascended God at the top of the universe is in a rested position at the 7th netta.
Man, good shit, boy. Good shit, man.
Yeah. So it had some way to do with God got tired and went to sleep, because God don't get tired. That's a contradiction, right?
Right.
So we're not deciphering the book like we just done here, but if that was dope. I'm glad you asked it. It allowed me to be able to break that down. Shout out to Kelly Frazier for that extension. Yeah, shout out to Sally McDermott for the extension. Appreciate y'all so much. Hey, Duke of Memphis, you can stay on muted till you got something else for me. I'm gonna allow for some more people to pick my brain. But yeah, facts. The 7 days are the 7 netters. There's a reason why we got 7 days of the week, and they all are named after a different netter. Because each netter was named after the Greeks in our modern time. That would be the moon, Venus, Mercury. Each of those planets is a stargate portal into the next netter, which is why there are 7 wandering stars and 7 ethers. Each star take you into that particular ether. So, yeah, that's why you got 7 ethers and 7 days of the week, because the word day mean rise. And when the Bible was talking about the creation of those 7 days in Genesis, it wasn't talking about time, because guess what? When God was separating the waters from the waters, that was God having a ripple effect. And then the sun and moon and all that came later. because in each ripple effect, you got your own sun and moon. Like what Martin Kennedy was teaching y'all. Each ring got its own sun and moon, which is why the waters had to be separated from the waters before the lights in heaven was even made.
Right. That's some good shit, folks. That's some good shit, man.
People can't decipher that book without the cosmology. You got to have the ancient Hebrew cosmology to go with the Bible to even know what the hell they were talking about, or you're gonna be interpreting it through the way the Freemasons and King James got y'all to interpret it nowadays with physics, with solid liquid gas understanding, and the fact that Earth is the real Earth and it's physical. But once you realize all the truth about how the ancients saw this place, then the Bible make way more sense. You don't even got to be a Bible believer. You can know the knowledge that it was portraying now. You've deciphered it. That leaves you being a knower, not a believer in fairy tales. You've deciphered those fairy tales and extracted the ancient spiritual science from it. And that is what can't be believed, the science. Cymatics. Frequency, right? Omar and Truth, welcome to the call. Hey, can I get a mic check from Truth though? I know Omar is good money, but Truth, can I get a troll check to make sure you ain't a troll? Just a little mic check from you. And you too, Omar, just to make sure he can hear me, because if Omar can hear me, Truth can hear me.
Yeah, I'm here, Sanchez. This is Omar.
Okay, so Truth giving me troll vibes. Hey, Truth, hit your microphone button and let me hear a mic check from you. Hold on, y'all. I got paranoid and booted him off. But he sounded like he was clearing his throat.
No, that was troll vibes to me all the way.
It did get troll vibes, man. It got troll vibes.
I was like, all right. That's it. Okay. It was easy. That was easy for me. So yeah, may I tell you this? What I wanted to say.
Do your thing, Omar. Yeah, you got it.
So I've been following you for whatever my account say, as long as I've been following you. The reality is these cats are, like you said, are placing the. So I only live by three things: self-balanced love, right? And then within that self-balanced love, that means that it has to be demonstrated across mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional at all times. That's in my life. And then now, is anyone equating truth plus truth, truth plus false, and then false plus false? In other words, truth plus truth equals truth always. Truth plus false equals false. False plus false equals false. Right? Well, I'm
gonna let you keep going. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So if there is something within the explanation of somebody perceiving whatever they're perceiving, if those things in my world are not taken care of, then I start asking questions. And so you have never come across as a question in my mind. There is always a reason to be like, okay, this is going on over here, this is going on over there, and then we consider the paradox or the paradigm or the whatever the interflux, whatever the thing is in between. There's always that's what we're considering when we're talking about the ocean and talking about things. There's always in between. There's something in between there, right? That snuggles up and through and then we transcend. And that's fine. And that's what we're supposed to be able to find. When people aren't able to consider the paradox or aren't able to consider the paradigm, that's where you don't get the swivel, the little wiggle in between where the sperm enters the egg. The egg is just like a female vagina. It ain't gonna open up for a motherfucker who ain't squiggling right. You got to vibrate. You got to maneuver at a particular frequency in order to get up in there.
And you know what you saying? If anyone's studying diving, right, the key is to not disturb the water when you break it. So the thing is, like, the more you hit the water all violently with no sacred geometry, no aerodynamics, not only it's harder for you to penetrate the water, you feel more of the surface impact and it hurts more. So, like, it's the difference between a person being dropped into the ocean and they literally penetrate the water like a perfect diver, whereas you drop another person in that same ocean, they don't even make it past the surface. They just burst into pieces as soon as they hit it. You see what I'm saying? So they start to burst into pieces soon as they hit the surface of the ocean. Boom, just shatter apart. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you want to take that and take the science behind that to the extreme between the good diver and bad diver, you know, so that shattering that the bad diver does when he shatter himself apart because he didn't have no structure, it creates other versions of him when he shatter. They break apart into other mini yous and all of them little mini yous got to learn how to dive. And one of them can shatter and keep shattering, and you can just create so many. That's the thing about these ethereal barriers and like the path of ascension, the descent and descension. It is simply like all of us are fallen angels. Some people got to live out more lifetimes to make it to heaven than others. Some people ain't got to reincarnate that many times. Some people do. And that's some divers don't disturb the water as much as other divers. And the divers that disturb the water the most got to do the most dives to learn how not to disturb the water, because they're trying to perfect their life. And their life is like when ain't nothing, everything within this medium called the ocean or the ether, it seems like nothing is flowing your way. And that'll be like a diver that hopped in the water and disturbed the water with a crazy dive. And now the water just moving like a motherfucker. And now the diver got to swim out of that water. And it's harder for you to swim out of that wavy water. But you made the waves with your violent entry. So I think everyone's life and the way it play out is a result. Their ending is a result of their beginning, like the cause and effect. And we may say, man, why that person keep catching hell? There's some spiritual shit associated with how their frequency even entered this place to begin with. Everything you going through is what you gotta go through to perfect diving. Shout out to Maxime Lamoth. Have you ever looked into concave earth theory from Lord Stephen Christ? Dude is sketchy at best, but a deep dive debunking / analysis of it would be great. It's an interesting theory worth looking in. Love from Canada. Not only have I looked into it, I actually spoke with Lord Stephen Christ, and I actually kind of embarrassed him a bit. But yeah, the golden ages of flat power, everybody was debating and going to everybody's channel. I actually missed those days. They were doing chat bombs where somebody channel may send their crowd to your channel. Like, them days were gone. Them were good days on YouTube, man. But yeah, a lot of people y'all want me to chill with. Chances are, and I already debated them, chilled with them, all that. I've been doing this over a decade. So have Stephen Christ, not maybe a decade, but somewhere close to it. But yeah, man, Stephen Christ, concave earth, all that. You got concave earth theory, you got hollow earth, you got the diamond earthers. I stick to over here with what I'm doing, and I don't really look into all that stuff because it's just a deep dive into theories. And I've already found the ancient spiritual sciences. That's going to take the rest of my life decoding and extracting the knowledge out of that. So I would never spend too much time exploring theories when I know for a fact I got the science of the spiritual realm. I can articulate it with physics. for lack of better words, because ain't nothing physical about it, but they still arguing about the shape of the earth. I already know what shape the earth is. I'm talking about how to get off this motherfucker. Like, I'm ahead of the damn ball game. Like, I'm beyond arguing with niggas about theories about is the earth concave or convex? Man, it's flat. Period. Let me reset my mic. Hold on. I'm beyond arguing with people what shape the earth is, like, or exploring any knowledge that have theories about the shape of the earth. I'm 100% sure I know the shape of the earth. I'm at the next level of this awakening, which is how to get the hell off of the earth. And Stephen Christ ain't there yet. A lot of people ain't there yet. They still trying to figure out what the shape of it is. And it's simple. It's flat, bro. But yeah, let me. But the concave and convex, it's the firmament dome above and the firmament dome below. Sheol is concave, firmament dome convex. In the middle, you got flat. So people are saying, like, the earth is a result of two polarities canceling out. So if you think that the earth is convex or concave, stick them together, they even out and you get flat earth. But
that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm sorry, Sanchez. That's the thing about paradox, right?
Mm-hmm.
People and what do we call it? Cognitive dissonance. People are not willing to understand those dichotomies. You can have both. They both exist.
Mm-hmm.
And
there you go.
Go ahead, and you can't deny it. Nobody can, but everybody's trying to placate their side of the situation. Like, this side is right, that side is right. Well, the moment you say that, you are telling me you are not intelligent. You are immature in mind. That's what you're telling me.
That's facts. It's crazy because Earth is literally a paradox of all polarizing polarities occupying the same space. So when we say we're flat earthers, we're saying we're convex earthers, concave earthers, we're all of that in the same thing. Because it's like Earth is a culminate. If one group say no, the Earth is concave, no, the Earth is convex, the truth is that both of them are right. And when you put both of them right answers together, it equals flat Earth. That's why I'm always be a flat earther.
That should be fun. That shit is funny as hell. And people don't get. I swear for cheese, people don't get that. Now, I don't subscribe to anything that's not me. It's always me. It's always Omar. I'm Omar now. But I perceive the fact that Omar is living on the polarities that I'm living on: sound, frequency, resonance, vibration, cymatics. All I perceive that, but I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm hot sauce. I'm table. I'm corona. I'm not any of those things. I'm part of those things, and we are all a part of all the same things. But people are not willing to say that, do that, live that, believe that.
Yeah, it's part of, because to do that they'll get excluded from their cult. And the cult is basically the way that the papacy got the majority of people seeing reality. They got a monopoly on how we see reality, which is that's powerful, bro, when you control that. Let me give a shout out to Stephanie Russell. Thank you for becoming a member of this channel, sis. Also, let me give a shout out to, okay, that's everybody. Thank y'all so much for the support. We got Truth, I brought you back because I just had a troll come on, and I said, well, if that was the troll, maybe Truth wasn't a troll. Truth, you going to give me another mic check? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and see. My bad, man. While we wait on that, welcome back, Jack and Rum Ham. That's what be give me gnawed when I tell a person to unmute and they don't do it right away, I get paranoid.
My
Oh shit, Truth! I just muted you. Soon as you cleared your damn,
fault.
there you
My
go.
fault, brother. I'm sorry, man. I'm old school. I'm slow on the keyboards, brother. But I'm tapped into you. I'm
Okay,
not a troll.
now that I know who you are, keep the same name in the future as Truth, so I know to let you on. But yeah, salute.
Yes, sir. Definitely will.
Hey, and to Jack Elinsky and Rumham, between y'all three, whichever one of y'all grab the flow first, y'all go ahead, salutes. And yeah, whoever want it. First come, first serve. Nobody got no questions for me? Or
Oh, you
nothing
hear
to
me,
interject?
Dad?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, when you were talking earlier, I was on the July picture. For
Say that
your,
again.
when you were talking about the firmament waters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the collage you have for the July and the calendar. I was wondering
Uh-huh.
if I could read the quote that you got for it.
Oh, you
Okay.
got that one of the flat earth calendars for sure. Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Within the firmament's vast expansion, the cosmic ripple effect takes its stance,
Mm-hmm. That's
and
right.
and then stars ignite in timeless flight, born from the echo of creation's might.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the first hour, that's what I was saying in chat. I was like, damn, I know
That's
exactly
that's
what picture you're
the
looking for.
that's that 2024 calendar, right?
No, it's a 25 one.
It's crazy because the 2025 calendar was a misprint, and a lot of people said that they liked them and still displayed them just for the visuals and the joint. But I was really embarrassed by that, and part of me, like I said, listen, I'm gonna wait to 2026 before I make another calendar, and I'm gonna take what I learned from that calendar was to be patient. Quit rushing, man. Like, be thorough, overlook stuff, you know? So I was so used to, like, I had made a calendar the previous year. So I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. And it's like, nah, man, look shit over. I did not look nothing over. Like,
Yeah, I'm making a binder out of it. So it's almost lined up perfectly. It's just some, like the
but you know
star.
what? The 2026 one gonna be so far, bro. I'm gonna put my foot in that and take my time.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, that's about it. And then flat power, of course.
Hell yeah, flat power, man. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a haiku. It's a little poem about the firmament right there. Guess
Yep.
what, y'all? That sums up damn near the whole lecture today in a nice little poem. So salutes to that. Hell yeah.
All right, I'm done. I'll be on mute.
For sure. Appreciate that. And shout out to Demi and to Yad, man. Thank y'all for joining. The floor is open, y'all. Go ahead.
I got a question about calends. If we're talking about calends, isn't that something that is not part of just? I mean, it's just part of the mental, control and slavery of who we are as humans. So when we talk about calendars, that we should be following the lunar calendar always.
And it you know what calendar a person follow is gonna all boil into what culture they're a part of and shit like that, because it ain't really a right or wrong calendar. A calendar is just, time is infinite. There are an infinite number of days, right? And we just separate this shit. It's like going to the ocean and sectioning off areas with ropes, and the ocean is infinite. Your sections is just how y'all identify barriers and shit within the ocean. Like a person calendar is designed around their crops, their religious system, and all that. And it's not that their calendar is really a true reflection of what the sky is doing. It's more of a reflection of what the people should be doing at that particular time of the year. So like when people made these different calendars, lunar calendars, solar calendars, that was based around their crops, because certain people with certain crops, like the number one reason why you would have a lunar or a solar calendar was negotiated by crops. But those crops and those calendars had an archetype over them, like a god. So you had a god that you wanted to pray to get a good harvest, right? And so let's say that you plant a certain crop that's planted at a certain time of year and it yields a good harvest at another time of year. All of humans' job was planting seeds in agriculture back in the day. So we developed entire calendars based around the crops. And Gregorian calendar, different calendars were based upon those people's way of living. The calendar is basically dividing time up, which is infinite, but it's like every 365 or 360 days the calendar reset. Because look, without the calendar and that, the calendar is the grid. It's like the Masonic checkerboard with the squares. Each day is like a box. And it's fucking basically the whole thing about the calendar, though. Hey, shout out to Kai, gifting 5 memberships. But I'm saying the calendar, each box represent a cycle, a day, right? But the crazy thing, though, is what I'm saying, though, is like, the fucking calendars weren't really made to necessarily accurately depict what the sky doing, but they was made to show what the people should be doing at this point of the year, which is a 365-day cycle that man created so that he can keep you in a loop of actions. So you say, well, this part of the year I have Christmas every year, and this part I do Halloween. But what if there were no calendars? You would have Christmas one time, but how would you ever have it again? If Christmas is every December and 25th, but time ain't looping back around on a calendar, then Christmas might be every 7,000 years on the Mayan calendar, or it might happen one time and never again. Because the way that we negotiate time with the calendar, it creates a sequence of repeated actions collectively in the world that we never break from, bro. It's like a matrix. It's simple as calendar and telling time the way in a looping way that they got you to do it, because the calendar is telling you what to do at this time of year. But ain't no year. It ain't 365 days that's keep repeating. Time is an instant expansion of consciousness. But they got us negotiating with it like it's a hamster on a wheel, you know, so to speak.
Bro. Yeah, forget the holidays. There's only one holiday that you need. You know, you already lived all the holidays, so you know, it's just a box and a mark, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy because if you look at a calendar with all the boxes, it's like each box is a parallel reality. And every time your consciousness move from one box to the next box, you say a day passed, but really you just passed into another box or parallel reality. So if you're looking at days on a calendar, each one in their box, each day you're in is like a dot in that box or Jack in the box, and Jack keep hopping boxes on a calendar. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Yeah, that's why I got my boxes checked off. I go back from last year. What's the day? What did I do last year? Or that day, that 365 days later. Oh shoot, it's like almost the same. So it's like, all right.
And they said Saturn is the god of repetition, but people think like sports, football, basketball, holidays, all that is part of the matrix to create repetition to make it seem like we in this loop effect. And that time is like a 365-day cycle that's being looped back around based upon a series of events that we agreed on. So we start the beginning of the year with fireworks. Then we eat Valentine's Day candy. And there's a reference in each month to let us know where we at on the calendar symbolically. Halloween. Then we go to Christmas. Then we pop fireworks again to say we're back at January. This is a ritual to create an illusion of time that don't exist, because that form of time is dealing with secular time and the series of traditional events that everyone keep repeating in the world system. But someone, think about this, right? What would we be evolving to? How would we even perceive reality outside of this calendar sort of deception? You know, because you'd be like, well, it's football season again, so it must be this time. Oh, NBA games are played, so it's this time of year. We're referencing time based upon man-made events within a simulation and not necessarily based upon what the sky doing. And we know that our calendars don't mimic what the sky doing because the seasons are off. The calendars were never made to basically mimic what the sky doing. It was made to control what we doing at any particular time in a quote-unquote year that don't exist, as I keep saying. If you just was born on this earth and no one never told you what day it is, what time it is, you wouldn't even have a birthday. Your birthday really don't exist, bro, because it's just a hypothetical spot on a calendar where time loop back around according to Pope Gregory. Is when you go from January, February. Remember, you got Augustus month, Julius Caesar is July. Like, you can add your month because these months don't really portray what time is doing. It show you how they fucked up time and got everything off the natural cycles and off track and put everybody on this form of time where it's a false form of time to where you're just recycling through rituals. Christmas, Valentine, Halloween, football, basketball, and you're looking at these symbols as reference points in a time wheel that they made. It is not nothing to do with the cosmos, though, if you get what I'm saying. It's a real matrix.
Big facts, my brother. Salutes, bro.
Salutes to you, Awakening Minds. Thanks for joining. And salutes to Prince H. Thank you for the super chat. He said, they asked Prince, the artist, how do you stay young? He said he doesn't count time or birthdays. He just lives. Now, guess what? The isolated tribes in the jungle, that's what they do. They don't have calendars, or they don't have days of the week. They was born, and they just know each day I get up is another day, but they don't have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's just another day. And they outlive us too, I ain't gonna lie. You go up to them isolated tribes, the OG have a mustache long as hell. They be like, this is our fucking elder, he's 90 this, and he'll go climb a goddamn tree right out. Let me stop. Hey, let me pass the mic.
Hey, you know what also, bro? Like, I mean, obviously, you know, calendars, cylinders, a cycle as well.
Right.
Even 180 days from the start of the so-called year gives you Independence Day. You know what I'm saying? Then them 5 days in between is for the pharaohs worship. You know, that's why we fire off fireworks and all that. It even made the Pac-Man symbol. You know what I'm saying? 180 days in a circle. You split it and add 5 to it. You know, and then another 180 days you come back around. It's the Pac-Man symbol as well. But my brother, man, this stream was very enlightening, man. You touched on a lot of things that I love. I was just listening in. I sent you a couple super chats too, but you know, you was going in, bro. I didn't even
Let me
expect you
go
to
through
stop.
them.
You know?
Yeah, let me, because you know when I get to them screen shares, I might miss
Oh
some.
yeah.
Let me go
This
back. I miss Lil Ralph React. Thank you, Lil Ralph React, for the super chat. Let me go back through these.
Go ahead.
To Rogue Knowledge, thank you. I missed yours. And to Edward Williams, thank you. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back through here, man. Shout out to Awakening Minds for sure. He said phases equals shapes. The phases of mind creates the shapes of matter. That was probably in reference to when I was saying how each medium is a reflection of the life form that exists within that medium and shit and
Hell
vice
yeah, bro.
versa. Yeah.
It was, bro. And then when you were saying like we are fallen angels, you know, but we rise back up. So even the word risen, you know, risen is siren. You
Mm.
know, the heavens declared, you know, you
Yeah.
back into your divine self. So even the word divine is dive in. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, my brother, you was going in though, bro. I did not expect you to stop anyways, you know. But I just wanted you to hear that one though. You know, risen is siren. You know, that was
I,
tough.
and I missed another one from you, man. Mind over matter. Thank you for that. And I
Mhm.
also missed one from a brother, Ironwork. Ironwork said, take a look at Volar Spectrum, Roy G. BIV. We live on G or green. The sky is to indigo where hell is red. And I know where he going with that. You want to expound on that? That's fire because
May I expound on that?
yeah, for sure.
In terms of Roy G. Biv, that's a common expression amongst any artist, any musician, any you've heard it, Sanchez. But in terms of the color spectrum, red, orange, yellow, green. It's just an anagram for the color spectrum, the rainbow, and that's how they made it such a fucking catastrophe as it relates to the sexual orientation. They made a general thing, meaning light spectrum, Roy G. Biv, to be a fucking sexual exploitation, and now everybody's now disoriented and fucked up about it.
It's definitely some of that sad. Like when he said G green, that's where Earth is. Yeah, I'm gonna go and look into that in my next firmament stream, which will be coming up. I'm gonna bring in that element to it of Roy. What is red, blue, and green? What I
It's
forgot what it is. Damn, let me
it's the
break down.
chakra colors too. It's everything. It's the 5 cycle of light. You know, the whole spectrum. You know, so you start from red, you get to orange. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
yellow, green. You know, light blue, dark blue, then purple, enlightenment. You know, it's Roy Biv, it's something like that. It's spelling out. It's the start of each of those.
No, it's what I said. I apologize for cutting you. It's Roy G. Biv. That's how they pronounce it, and
Right.
that is what describes the beginning of the Bible, meaning nothing physical came into existence until God did what? He spoke it.
So check
God,
this out.
God said,
The
and then
word,
and then there was light, and then there was light. Roy G. Biv.
the
After
word. Go ahead, my brother. I ain't want you to get from that point, you know, but go ahead. Because
I,
let there be
this,
light. Same
Yeah,
thing.
I was saying that sound. In other words, the sound frequency resonance vibration is what creates the other spectrums that we're talking about as gentlemen, as scholars. Like we're talking about the same thing. All of it that's what the spiritual is. The spiritual comes from the vibrational, meaning that's what it is. And so therefore we now get a color. We now get a spectrum of light.
Because within the day, like for example, day is dias, D-A-I-S, which is said backwards. You know what I'm saying? Dias is said, it's also God. So like, let there be light. It's all frequency vibrations.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I'm
is.
saying? No matter what, energy.
Exactly. It's a manifestation of energy. You said it.
Because even within the day, you get those same spectrums. When the sunrise, you get a different color throughout all the way to the evening point, then to the night part. It's all that 5 cycle of light, what I call the unit circle. That's how they graph a wave, the trigonometry. That's their tool they use, man. But like I said, man, Dias is literally God said. And even when you say God said, it's goddess. You know what I'm saying? Mother Earth, back to Earth, ether. But y'all go ahead, though, bro. Great
Most
stream, though, my brother. I know you got to get up out of here. So salutes to the chat, salutes to the panel.
Yeah, much love, much salutes to y'all. And that's crazy because in the next stream, I'm going to go into the bubble wrap Earth theory to where each bubble is like the Truman Show, another parallel world. But I'm going to go into the firmament dome deeper when I sync that to cell membranes. Show y'all how the firmament dome of the Earth is no different than a cell membrane. And then when we understand that cells are just many explosions. See, let me say this real quick before I go, and I'm going to break this down, right? Your entire body is a lightning strike, for real. And I shared this before. This is going to be the last thing, and I'm going to go the reason I want to bring this up about cells and the Big Bang Theory. Because watch this. It's like connect the dots to where your nervous system is where your whole body is emanating from. That's what your plasma body, right? So this little blue part, the blue nervous system, that's where your consciousness is running through, like electricity through wires. And that energy running through there is your soul. So the epicenter of this lightning strike that they call in a nervous system is the pineal gland. And I showed this in a previous stream. I'm being redundant so I can go somewhere before we leave, right? This light right here. Once it came on, it became the epicenter of a lightning strike. And I'm going to share this again, a lightning strike. And I'm going to show you what I mean about cells. So this lightning strike have an epicenter, meaning it's like a tree with branches and it got a trunk, but you can trace that trunk back to the source that created the strike. It'll be a little bitty ball, like a seed giving birth to a tree. And that's the point where the lightning strike was born. Lightning strikes are trees. But check this out. Your seed is here. And the tree grows from that. It creates this whole nervous system, which is the mind creating the body. Your soul literally is projecting your body, right? So when your soul leave the brain, or the seat of the soul up there, your nervous system gonna fade away and you're gonna decompose. But check this out. Every cell in your body is like a smaller explosion that was born from this big explosion. And it's for every cell in you that dies, one explodes and fades into creation, keeping you manifested at all times, even though cells are constantly dying and being reborn. But it'll be, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to come back and revisit this in the future. I got to go right now. But peace and love, y'all. See y'all on the next one, man. I have really exhausted all my time. Thank y'all once again for all the support and love. Black Power. We